What if the world you perceive is not a fixed external reality, but a mirror, reflecting a code written deep within you? A code you did not consciously write, but have been running on autopilot your entire life. It dictates what you see as possible, what you believe you deserve, and what reality you ultimately experience. For many, this code is corrupted. It is a program written by past pains, by the fears of others, by the limiting beliefs of a society that has forgotten its own power. And so, life feels like a script you never auditioned for, a role you play without passion. You may have achieved what you were told to want, the house, the career, the semblance of success, yet there is a persistent hum of dissatisfaction beneath the surface, a quiet knowing that this is not all there is. You feel like a spectator to your own existence, watching events unfold as if they were happening to someone else, disconnected from the very heart of your own story. This feeling, this exhaustion, is not a sign that you are broken. It is a signal. It is your soul's final, desperate attempt to get your attention. It is a call to stop, to cease the endless striving, the constant noise, the frantic search for answers in a world that only knows how to ask more questions. I invite you now to step out of that noise, to enter a quiet space, right here, right now. This is not an escape from reality. It is a journey to its very source. It is a return to the control room of your own consciousness, where the original code can be accessed, understood, and rewritten. What follows is not a lecture, but a remembrance. A journey back to the creative power that has been yours all along, waiting patiently beneath the static of your mind. Let the world outside fall away. There is nothing you need to do, and nowhere you need to be. Just be here and listen. The process of awakening has already begun. Before you can write a single line of new code for your reality, you must first contend with the existing program, the one that runs ceaselessly in the background of your life. This program is the constant chattering monologue within your own skull. It is the uninvited narrator, the relentless commentator on everything you do, think, and feel. Let us call this space what it is, the echo chamber of the mind. It is a room where old fears, past humiliations, and borrowed anxieties bounce off the walls with such velocity that they create a storm of perpetual noise. This is the starting point of our journey, for you cannot hear the whispers of the universe or the true voice of your own soul if you are standing in the center of a hurricane. Take a moment to listen, not with your ears, but with your awareness. What do you hear inside? For most, it is not a peaceful silence. It is a torrent. The mind replays the awkward thing you said yesterday, dissects a perceived slight from a week ago, and rehearses 100 catastrophic scenarios for tomorrow. It is a master storyteller, but its favorite genres are regret and dread. It tells you that you are not enough, that you are running out of time, that you have made too many mistakes. It compares your life to the curated highlight reels of others and finds you wanting. This inner voice is so constant, so familiar, that you have likely mistaken it for your own identity. You believe that you are this voice. This is the first and most profound illusion we must dismantle. This mental static is not a personal failing. It is in part a feature of an outdated survival mechanism. Your brain evolved to scan for threats, to identify problems, to remember dangers. It is a magnificent tool for keeping a physical body alive in a hostile wilderness. But you are no longer living in that wilderness. You are living in a world of subtle energies, of nuanced emotions, of creative potential. And the tool that was meant to protect you has become your prison guard, pacing the corridors of your mind, keeping you locked within the safe, predictable, and limiting confines of what is already known. The tragedy is that this guard is not malicious. It is simply doing the only job it knows, running a program designed for a world that no longer exists. The central conflict of this stage is a deep and subtle one. There is a part of you, the part that is listening to these words right now, that yearns for silence, for peace. It craves the clarity and stillness it instinctively knows is its birthright. But there is another, more powerful part that is addicted to the noise. It is a strange and uncomfortable truth. We are addicted to our own suffering. The drama of anxiety, the righteous fire of anger, the familiar comfort of melancholy. These states, while painful, are also stimulating. They produce a chemical rush. They make us feel something. They provide a narrative, a sense of self, a reason for our circumstances. To let go of the chaos is to let go of the story we have been telling ourselves about who we are and why our life is the way it is. The silence, in contrast, can feel terrifying. It can feel like a void, an emptiness. We have defined ourselves by the storm for so long that we have forgotten the vast, peaceful sky that contains it. The addiction to the inner noise is a fear of discovering who you are without it. Here is the core message, the first ray of light that cuts through the fog. You are not the noise. You are not the thoughts. You are not the echoes in the chamber. You are the space in which the noise occurs. You are the awareness that notices the thoughts. This is a monumental shift in identification. Thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. Sometimes they are white and fluffy. Sometimes they are dark and menacing. But you are not the clouds. You are the sky itself, vast, unchanging, and eternally present. No matter what weather passes through, the clouds of thought can block the sun, they can bring rain and lightning, but they can never, ever harm the sky. By simply recognizing this, by creating even the slightest separation between the thinker and the awareness of the thought, the entire structure of the mental prison begins to weaken. Imagine that echo chamber again. For years, you have believed you were one of the echoes, or perhaps the cacophony itself. You have been trying to fight the noise with more noise-shouting affirmations over the top of your fears, arguing with your inner critic, trying to drown out anxiety with distractions. This is an exhausting and futile battle. It only creates more echoes. The true path to peace is not to shout louder, but to stop participating in the noise altogether. It is to find the source of the sound and turn it off. The source is your belief, your unconscious agreement that these thoughts are real and that they are you. The off switch is your quiet, non-judgmental awareness. This brings us to a practical step, a small hinge that swings a very large door. We will not begin with an hour of silent meditation, for to force a noisy mind into silence is to invite a war. We will begin with something much gentler, the practice of the pause. Throughout your day, create tiny moments of intentional stillness. When you are about to pick up your phone, pause, take one conscious breath. Feel the air enter your lungs and leave your body. In that single second of pause, just notice the state of your mind. Is it racing? Is it anxious? Is it calm? Do not judge it. Do not try to change it. Simply notice. Before you send that email, before you reply in a heated conversation, before you eat your next meal, pause, breathe, observe. These pauses are tiny pockets of silence, small windows in the echo chamber through which you can glimpse the sky. This is not an exercise in stopping your thoughts. That is a myth that causes immense frustration. Thoughts will arise. The mind will produce them just as the heart beats. The practice is to change your relationship with them. When a thought of worry arises during your pause, you see it, you acknowledge it without judgment. Ah, there is worry, and then you gently return your attention to your breath. You are not pushing the thought away. You are simply choosing not to serve it tea. You are letting it pass by like a cloud, without leaping onto it and riding it into a storm. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your muscle of awareness. You are withdrawing your energy, your precious attention, from the echo chamber and investing it back into the silence, into the present moment. Do not underestimate the power of this simple practice. At first, the pauses will feel short, and the noise will rush back in immediately. That is fine, but with consistency, the gaps will lengthen. You will begin to notice the space between your thoughts. That space is pure potential. It is the canvas upon which a new reality can be painted. It is in this emerging silence that inspiration can finally land, that intuition can finally be heard. It is the fertile emptiness from which all true creation springs. You are not destroying the old program. You are simply letting it run out of energy by ceasing to feed it your attention. As the echoes fade, you will begin to notice the walls of the chamber itself. You will start to see the structure, the form, the architecture of the beliefs that created the room in the first place. And you will begin to ask a new and powerful question: who built these walls? This question is the gateway to the next stage of our work. As the storm of the mind begins to calm, as the echoes fade into a hum, you start to perceive the space itself. You notice the walls of the chamber. You feel their texture, their unyielding solidity. And a new, more profound question begins to form in the quiet. Who built this prison? If the noise was the symptom, what is the disease? The answer lies with the silent, tireless worker in your consciousness, a figure who has shaped your entire world without ever showing its face. We must now meet this invisible architect. This architect is your belief system. It is the collection of assumptions, conclusions, and declarations about reality that you accepted as truth long ago. These beliefs are the unseen scaffolding upon which your life is built. They are the bedrock beneath your feet, the ceiling that defines your limits, the very lens through which you perceive everything. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as you are, and you are, to a great extent, what you believe. A belief is not merely a thought. A belief is a thought that has been supercharged with certainty. It is a mental groove, carved deep by repetition, by emotional experience, and by the agreement of those you trusted. These beliefs were formed in the soft clay of your childhood, impressions made by your parents, your culture, your early successes and failures. A belief that money is scarce and hard to earn will filter your reality so that you only see evidence of lack and struggle while overlooking opportunities for abundance that sit right in front of you. A belief that I am not worthy of true love will act as a silent repellent to healthy partners, or it will guide you to sabotage the love you do receive, all to prove its own grim prophecy correct. These beliefs are not passive statements. They are active, powerful commands to your subconscious mind, instructing it on how to filter the infinite data of reality down to a manageable and predictable experience. They are the architects, drawing the blueprints for the house you will live in. The conflict here is one of the most difficult on the human journey. A part of you, the awakening self, can begin to see these walls. It feels the constriction. It yearns to break free. But the larger, older part of you, the ego self, is terrified of this. It clings to these beliefs as a drowning man clings to a piece of driftwood. Why? Because they provide a sense of identity and safety. A painful certainty is often less frightening than a glorious uncertainty. To challenge a core belief is not just to question an idea, it is to question the very foundation of your personality. If I am not the struggling artist, then who am I? If I am not the one who was wronged, what is my story? If I am not shy and anxious, how am I supposed to act? The architect does not like its blueprints being questioned. When you dare to challenge a belief, your mind will flood you with 1,000 pieces of evidence to prove it's true. It will replay every failure, highlight every rejection, and scream, "See? I told you so. It's dangerous out there. Stay inside where it's safe, where we know the rules." This is the architect defending its creation, desperate to maintain the integrity of the structure it has built, even if that structure is a cage. The liberating message, the key that unlocks the door, is this: you are not your beliefs. Just as you are not the clouds, you are the sky, you are also not the house. You are the conscious resident living within it. A belief is something you have, it is not something you are. The moment you can step back and observe a belief, you sever your identification with it. You are no longer its effect. You become its conscious observer. Imagine you have been wearing a pair of blue-tinted glasses your entire life. You would not know you were wearing them. You would simply believe the world is blue. The process of deconstruction is the moment of realizing you are wearing glasses. You haven't yet taken them off, but for the first time, you are aware that the blue tint is not the world itself, but a filter you are looking through. In that single moment of awareness, everything changes. You have reclaimed your power from the illusion. Let us return to our invisible architect. Do not approach this entity with anger or resentment. It was not trying to harm you. In its own way, it was trying to protect you. Based on the limited and often frightening information of a child's world, it built a small, sturdy fortress to keep you safe from further pain. But you are no longer a child. You have outgrown the fortress. The ceilings are too low, and you keep hitting your head. The windows are too small, and they starve you of light. Your task is not to demolish the fortress with dynamite, but to consciously and lovingly begin a renovation. You must sit down with the architect, spread the old blueprints out on the table, and with compassion, thank it for its service before respectfully letting it go. This brings us to our next practice, the interrogation of belief. This is not an attack, but a firm and loving inquiry. First, identify an area of your life where you feel perpetually stuck. It could be your finances, your health, your relationships. Ask yourself this powerful question: what would I have to believe is true about myself or the world to be having this exact experience? Be honest. Write it down. Perhaps the belief is, I have to struggle for everything I get, or I am fundamentally unlovable, or all the good opportunities are already taken. Now, hold this belief, this old blueprint, in the light of your awareness and begin the interrogation. Ask it. 1. Is this belief absolutely 100% true, without any exception? Your mind will immediately scream, yes, but be patient. Can you find just one instance in your entire life, no matter how small, where this was not true? A time when something came to you with ease, a moment when someone showed you genuine love, a time an unexpected opportunity appeared. This one counterexample is a crack in the foundation of the belief. It proves it is not an absolute law, but merely a habit of thought. Next, ask. 2. Who handed me this blueprint? Did I consciously choose this belief as a powerful, sovereign adult? Or was it given to me when I was a child, by people who had their own limitations and fears? This act of tracing the belief to its origin externalizes it. It is not yours. It is a hand-me-down, a piece of old furniture you inherited, and you are under no obligation to keep it in your house. Finally, and most powerfully, ask. 3. Who would I be without this belief? What would I dare to do, to try, to create, if I knew this belief was a complete lie? Close your eyes and truly feel into this question. How would you walk? How would you speak? What choices would you make from a place of freedom and worthiness? This is not just about dismantling the old. It is about getting a clear, visceral taste of the new reality you wish to create. You are giving the mind a new blueprint to consider, a new direction to channel its immense power. This is the work of a lifetime, not a single afternoon. It is the patient, deliberate process of loosening one brick at a time. Every time you catch a limiting belief in action and refuse to blindly obey it, you let in more light. The goal is not to become a person with no beliefs, but to become a conscious creator of your beliefs, to choose the blueprints that will serve the magnificent, expanded version of you that is waiting to be born. Once you have seen the blueprints, once you have met the architect, you can no longer convincingly play the role of a helpless prisoner in the house. You realize you are its sole powerful resident, and you are holding all the tools you need for its grand and glorious renovation. As you stand amidst the dust of your dismantled beliefs, a stark and unavoidable truth emerges. The architect you have unmasked, the one who drew the blueprints of your life, was an agent you hired and kept on retainer. The walls you felt were imprisoning you were built with stones of your own choosing, mortared with the energy of your own agreement. With this realization, the entire foundation of blame crumbles to dust, and you are left standing in the rubble, facing the most terrifying and liberating concept of all: responsibility. This is the moment where many turn back. It is easier to live in a well-decorated prison, cursing the guards, than it is to stand in an open field and admit you have always held the key. We must now talk about the most pervasive and subtle addiction of the human condition: the addiction to victimhood. We must shatter the mirror. It forces us to look into every single day. For too long, we have stood before the grand mirror of life, cursing the reflection we see. If the face in the mirror looks sad, we blame the mirror for its lack of cheer. If it looks poor, we blame the mirror for its poverty. If it looks lonely, we blame the mirror for its isolation. This is the essence of the victim mentality. It is the unwavering belief that life is something that happens to you. It is a narrative where you are the passive recipient of circumstances, a ship tossed on the waves of an uncaring ocean, your fate dictated by the winds of the economy, the storms of others' behavior, and the hidden currents of bad luck. This narrative is intoxicatingly seductive. It grants you a powerful, if tragic, identity. You are the wronged one, the misunderstood hero, the noble sufferer. This identity absolves you of all accountability. It gives you a permanent, unassailable reason for your unhappiness and your inaction. It is not your fault. It is theirs. It is the world's. It is life's. This story earns you sympathy. It justifies your complaints, and it protects you from the terrifying risk of failure, for you cannot fail if you never truly begin. The core conflict of this stage is the battle between a deep desire for empowerment and the profound hidden comfort of this victimhood. You say you want to be the captain of your ship, but you are unwilling to give up your right to blame the ocean for the weather. You want the power to create your reality, but you refuse to let go of the satisfying, righteous anger you feel towards those who you believe have wronged you. Understand this. The story of victimhood comes with a heavy crown, the crown of resentment, blame, and self-pity. This crown is forged from your pain, and it can feel so familiar, so much a part of you, that to remove it feels like you are removing your own head. The ego will fight you tooth and nail to keep it. What will be left of me if I forgive them? It will scream. Who will I be if I can no longer blame my past for my present? It is a gilded cage, and its bars are made of your most cherished grievances. To step out means leaving these grievances behind, and for many, that feels like too high a price to pay for freedom. The core message, the hammer that will shatter this victim's mirror, is a radical reframing of a single word: responsibility. In the language of the victim, responsibility is a burden, it is fault, it is blame. But in the language of the Creator, we must redefine it. Let us break it apart. Response, ability. It is not about being at fault for what happens. It is about your divine and inalienable ability to choose your response. External events are the weather. Your inner state is the climate you choose to cultivate. You may not control the storm, but you have absolute dominion over the shelter within your own soul. The greatest minds have understood this. The philosopher's stone is not a tool to change the world, but a tool to change the self, which in turn changes the world. The last of the human freedoms, as Viktor Frankl discovered in the depths of a concentration camp, is the power to choose one's own attitude in any given set of circumstances. to choose one's own way. This power can never be taken from you. It can only be given away, and we give it away every time we blame. This is where the mirror metaphor reveals its full power. The victim spends their entire life trying to manipulate the reflection. They beg the mirror to smile. They get angry when it shows them a tear-streaked face. They negotiate with it, promising to be happy if only the reflection would change first. It is a life of profound powerlessness, because they have misunderstood the physics of reflection. The Creator, the one who is awakening to their responsibility, understands. The mirror is neutral. It is an impartial law of physics. It can only and will only ever show you what is already there. It does not judge. It does not punish. It simply reflects. So, if the Creator does not like the reflection of anger, they do not try to fix the mirror. They turn their attention inward and cultivate peace. If they do not like the reflection of lack, they do not chase money in a panic. They turn inward and cultivate a feeling of abundance. They change their own expression first, trusting with absolute faith that the mirror has no choice but to follow. Reality is this mirror. It does not give you what you want. It reflects back to you who you are being. This understanding must now be anchored into a practice. We will build upon the sacred pause we have already established. The practice is to consciously move from automatic reaction to chosen response. The next time something happens that triggers you a critical comment, a financial setback, a plan that goes awry, observe the sequence. First, there is the trigger, the external event. Immediately following, the old victim program wants to run. The script of blame, fear, or anger is loaded and ready to play. It is in this millisecond gap between the trigger and the programmed reaction that your entire power lies. In that gap, you must deploy the sacred pause. Take one deep, conscious breath. This single breath is a world-altering event. It is a pattern interrupt. It is you, the conscious creator, stepping onto the stage and saying, "Cut." You are stopping the automatic playback of the old movie. In the silent space created by that one breath, you must ask yourself a new question. Not, whose fault is this? Not, why does this always happen to me? But rather, how would the highest, wisest, most empowered version of myself choose to perceive this moment? This question shifts you from the basement of your reactive brain to the penthouse of your higher consciousness. Perhaps this highest self would see a perceived insult as the cry of a person in pain. Perhaps it would see a financial loss as a necessary course correction from the universe. Perhaps it would see a failure as an invaluable lesson. The specific response is secondary. The primary act of power is the conscious choice itself. It is the act of taking your hands off the mirror and placing them firmly back on your own heart. This is the end of blaming the reflection. It is the end of waiting for the world to change so that you can finally feel good. You are no longer a thermometer, passively reflecting the temperature of the room. You have become the thermostat, a conscious force that sets the temperature. By shattering the victim's mirror, you reclaim the energy that was once wasted on blame, resentment, and complaint, and you bring it home to yourself. This is the great homecoming. You stop being a consequence of your reality and you start to become its cause. You are no longer just the reflection, you are the source of the light. And now, with this reclaimed power, with this brilliant light finally returned to you, the most important question in the universe arises. Where will you now choose to shine it? For where your attention goes, your energy flows, and a new reality begins to take shape. You stand now as the source, the conscious origin of the light that illuminates your world. You have taken your power back from the house of belief and shattered the mirror of victimhood. The energy that was once scattered in blame and complaint has returned to you, coalescing into a brilliant, potent force at the center of your being. And so, the fundamental question of all creation now rests before you. Where will you shine this light? The answer is determined by the most precious and powerful commodity you possess. It is a currency more valuable than gold, a force more creative than any tool. It is the currency of your attention. This is the master key to the reality code. For the unbreakable law of consciousness is this: where your attention goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, life grows. Your attention is the focusing lens of your creative power. The universe is a field of infinite potential, a sea of neutral, unformed energy. Your attention is the conduit through which you draw from this infinite field and command it into form. It is the sacred act of anointing something with the order to be. When you place your sustained, focused attention on your problems, your debts, your sickness, or your loneliness, you are not merely observing them. You are actively watering them with the life-giving essence of your own consciousness. You are instructing the universe that this lack, this pain, is what you choose to energize. You are feeding the very condition you wish to escape. Conversely, when you withdraw your attention from the unwanted and place it deliberately upon a vision of wholeness, abundance, and love, you are signing a divine work order. You are channeling that same universal energy into the blueprint of your desire, nourishing its invisible structure until it becomes dense enough to precipitate into physical form. Every moment of your day, you are voting with your attention. You are casting ballots for the reality you will inhabit tomorrow. Most of humanity does this unconsciously, and so they create by default a world that reflects their deepest fears and anxieties. Our work is to turn this unconscious process into a deliberate art. Herein lies a profound inner conflict, a battle waged in the quiet theater of your own mind. Your brain, as we have discussed, is a magnificent survival machine, hardwired with a powerful negativity bias. It is designed to scan the horizon for threats, not for opportunities. It is more interested in the single lion hiding in the grass than the 1,000 beautiful flowers surrounding it. Therefore, its automatic tendency, its default setting, is to rivet your attention onto what is wrong. If you are in debt, the mind will scream about the bills. If you are unwell, it will obsess over the symptoms. If you feel alone, it will replay every memory of rejection. It does this because it mistakenly believes that by obsessing over the problem, it can protect you. The conflict, then, is between the loud, demanding voice of your conditioned mind, which is fixated on the evidence of what is, and the quiet, subtle knowing of your higher self, which invites you to place your faith in the vision of what could be. It is a tug-of-war between the magnetic pull of present circumstances and the gentle but persistent call of your desired future. The core message that will allow you to win this tug-of-war is not one of force, but one of finesse. Do not fight what you do not want. To fight a problem is to give it your full, undivided, passionate attention. To rage against your debt is to scream the word debt into the receptive fabric of the universe. To constantly research your illness is to make illness the central theme of your energetic broadcast. You cannot escape a reality you are constantly energizing. The true path is one of strategic and graceful neglect. You must starve the unwanted reality of its only food source, your attention. This requires a profound discipline. It requires you to make a conscious choice to turn away from the howling wolf of fear and lack. You do not need to kill it. You simply must stop feeding it. In parallel, you must take the food of your attention and begin, deliberately and lovingly, to feed the other wolf, the one of peace, of wholeness, of abundance. The old reality will not vanish overnight, but as you starve it, its howls will grow weaker, its presence will fade, until it becomes nothing more than a faint echo. And as you nourish the new reality, its presence will grow stronger, its form more solid, until it becomes your lived, tangible experience. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every day, The world throws seeds into it, seeds of fear from the news, seeds of comparison from social media, seeds of doubt from a passing comment. It also receives divine seeds of inspiration, love, and possibility. For years, you have let the garden grow wild. Your attention, like an indiscriminate sprinkler system, has watered everything, but it has a particular affinity for the weeds of negativity because they appear large and threatening. The weeds of worry and lack have grown so thick they have choked out the delicate flowers of your dreams. The work now is to become the master gardener. You do not spend all your days on your hands and knees, weeping and cursing the weeds, frantically trying to rip them all out. This is exhausting and endless. Instead, you make a conscious decision. You take the watering can of your attention and you walk right past the weeds. You go to the small, tender sprout of your desire, the flower of your dream, and you pour the entirety of your life-giving focus upon it. You do this every single day. You nurture it, you protect it, you shine the sun of your belief upon it. And a miracle happens. The flower grows stronger, its leaves unfurling, its stem thickening. Soon, it grows so large and vibrant that its own leaves cast a shadow, and the weeds at its base, starved of the light, naturally wither and die. This is the art of creation, not through struggle, but through focused nourishment. To anchor this into your life, you must adopt a practice. We will call it the mental diet. Like any diet, it has two phases: elimination and nourishment. First, for a period of time, perhaps one day or even a full week, you must go on an information fast. You must consciously refuse to ingest mental junk food. This means no sensationalist news reports, no scrolling through social media feeds that thrive on outrage and comparison, no participating in conversations that revolve around gossip, complaint, or how terrible things are. This is not about being ignorant. It is about reclaiming your energetic sovereignty. You are stopping the unconscious feeding of the weeds. You are creating a clean, quiet space in your garden. The second phase is the feast. In this clean space, you must deliberately feast your attention on that which you want to create. This is more than just positive thinking. It is a full-body immersion. For at least 5 minutes, twice a day, you will sit in silence and call forth the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. Do not just visualize a goal as some distant point in the future. Bring it into the now. If you desire abundance, don't just see a number in a bank account. Feel the feeling of relief in your shoulders. Feel the sense of freedom and ease in your chest. Feel the generosity that flows through you. If you desire vibrant health, don't just picture a healthy body. Feel the energy coursing through your limbs. Feel the sensation of vitality, of strength, of your body operating in perfect harmony. Inhabit this state. Let it be more real than the chair you are sitting on. This focused, feeling-based attention is the most potent form of nourishment you can give to your desire. This is the master skill. It is the conscious direction of the most creative force in the universe. By choosing where you place your attention, you are no longer a victim of the random seeds blown by the wind. You are the gardener who decides which plants will flourish and which will fade. You become the lighthouse keeper whose steady, powerful beam cuts through the fog of circumstance, illuminating the path for the reality you wish to bring to shore. Yet, even as you learn to direct this beam forward toward the future you are creating, you may feel a powerful, persistent gravity pulling your focus backward. It is a heavy, invisible anchor dragging on your soul, draining your attention no matter how hard you try to focus. This is the weight of yesterday. It is the unresolved energy of the past, and it is a force we must now turn and face before we can truly be free. You stand now as the source, the conscious origin of the light that illuminates your world. You have taken your power back from the house of belief and shattered the mirror of victimhood. The energy that was once scattered in blame and complaint has returned to you, coalescing into a brilliant, potent force at the center of your being. And so, the fundamental question of all creation now rests before you. Where will you shine this light? The answer is determined by the most precious and powerful commodity you possess. It is a currency more valuable than gold, a force more creative than any tool. It is the currency of your attention. This is the master key to the reality code. For the unbreakable law of consciousness is this: where your attention goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, life grows. Your attention is the focusing lens of your creative power. The universe is a field of infinite potential, a sea of neutral, unformed energy. Your attention is the conduit through which you draw from this infinite field and command it into form. It is the sacred act of anointing something with the order to be. When you place your sustained, focused attention on your problems, your debts, your sickness, or your loneliness, you are not merely observing them, you are actively watering them with the life-giving essence of your own consciousness. You are instructing the universe that this lack, this pain, is what you choose to energize. You are feeding the very condition you wish to escape. Conversely, when you withdraw your attention from the unwanted and place it deliberately upon a vision of wholeness, abundance, and love, you are signing a divine work order. You are channeling that same universal energy into the blueprint of your desire, nourishing its invisible structure until it becomes dense enough to precipitate into physical form. Every moment of your day, you are voting with your attention. You are casting ballots for the reality you will inhabit tomorrow. Most of humanity does this unconsciously, and so they create, by default, a world that reflects their deepest fears and anxieties. Our work is to turn this unconscious process into a deliberate art. Herein lies a profound inner conflict, a battle waged in the quiet theater of your own mind. Your brain, as we have discussed, is a magnificent survival machine, hardwired with a powerful negativity bias. It is designed to scan the horizon for threats, not for opportunities. It is more interested in the single lion hiding in the grass than the 1,000 beautiful flowers surrounding it. Therefore, its automatic tendency, its default setting, is to rivet your attention onto what is wrong. If you are in debt, the mind will scream about the bills. If you are unwell, it will obsess over the symptoms. If you feel alone, it will replay every memory of rejection. It does this because it mistakenly believes that by obsessing over the problem, it can protect you. The conflict then is between the loud, demanding voice of your conditioned mind, which is fixated on the evidence of what is, and the quiet, subtle knowing of your higher self, which invites you to place your faith in the vision of what could be. It is a tug-of-war between the magnetic pull of present circumstances and the gentle but persistent call of your desired future. The core message that will allow you to win this tug-of-war is not one of force, but one of finesse. Do not fight what you do not want. To fight a problem is to give it your full, undivided, passionate attention. To rage against your debt is to scream the word debt into the receptive fabric of the universe. To constantly research your illness is to make illness the central theme of your energetic broadcast. You cannot escape a reality you are constantly energizing. The true path is one of strategic and graceful neglect. You must starve the unwanted reality of its only food source, your attention. This requires a profound discipline. It requires you to make a conscious choice to turn away from the howling wolf of fear and lack. You do not need to kill it. You simply must stop feeding it. In parallel, you must take the food of your attention and begin, deliberately and lovingly, to feed the other wolf, the one of peace, of wholeness, of abundance. The old reality will not vanish overnight, but as you starve it, its howls will grow weaker, its presence will fade, until it becomes nothing more than a faint echo. And as you nourish the new reality, its presence will grow stronger, its form more solid, until it becomes your lived, tangible experience. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every day the world throws seeds into it, seeds of fear from the news, seeds of comparison from social media, seeds of doubt from a passing comment. It also receives divine seeds of inspiration, love, and possibility. For years, you have let the garden grow wild. Your attention, like an indiscriminate sprinkler system, has watered everything, but it has a particular affinity for the weeds of negativity because they appear large and threatening. The weeds of worry and lack have grown so thick they have choked out the delicate flowers of your dreams. The work now is to become the master gardener. You do not spend all your days on your hands and knees, weeping and cursing the weeds, frantically trying to rip them all out. This is exhausting and endless. Instead, you make a conscious decision. You take the watering can of your attention and you walk right past the weeds. You go to the small, tender sprout of your desire, the flower of your dream, and you pour the entirety of your life-giving focus upon it. You do this every single day. You nurture it, you protect it, you shine the sun of your belief upon it. And a miracle happens. The flower grows stronger, its leaves unfurling, its stem thickening. Soon, it grows so large and vibrant that its own leaves cast a shadow, and the weeds at its base, starved of the light, naturally wither and die. This is the art of creation, not through struggle, but through focused nourishment. To anchor this into your life, you must adopt a practice. We will call it the mental diet. Like any diet, it has two phases: elimination and nourishment. First, for a period of time, perhaps one day or even a full week, you must go on an information fast. You must consciously refuse to ingest mental junk food. This means no sensationalist news reports, no scrolling through social media feeds that thrive on outrage and comparison, no participating in conversations that revolve around gossip, complaint, or how terrible things are. This is not about being ignorant. It is about reclaiming your energetic sovereignty. You are stopping the unconscious feeding of the weeds. You are creating a clean, quiet space in your garden. The second phase is the feast. In this clean space, you must deliberately feast your attention on that which you want to create. This is more than just positive thinking. It is a full-body immersion. For at least 5 minutes, twice a day, you will sit in silence and call forth the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. Do not just visualize a goal as some distant point in the future. Bring it into the now. If you desire abundance, don't just see a number in a bank account. Feel the feeling of relief in your shoulders. Feel the sense of freedom and ease in your chest. Feel the generosity that flows through you. If you desire vibrant health, don't just picture a healthy body. Feel the energy coursing through your limbs. Feel the sensation of vitality, of strength, of your body operating in perfect harmony. Inhabit this state. Let it be more real than the chair you are sitting on. This focused, feeling-based attention is the most potent form of nourishment you can give to your desire. This is the master skill. It is the conscious direction of the most creative force in the universe. By choosing where you place your attention, you are no longer a victim of the random seeds blown by the wind. You are the gardener who decides which plants will flourish and which will fade. You become the lighthouse keeper, whose steady, powerful beam cuts through the fog of circumstance, illuminating the path for the reality you wish to bring to shore. Yet, even as you learn to direct this beam forward, toward the future you are creating, you may feel a powerful, persistent gravity pulling your focus backward. It is a heavy, invisible anchor dragging on your soul, draining your attention no matter how hard you try to focus. This is the weight of yesterday. It is the unresolved energy of the past, and it is a force we must now turn and face before we can truly be free. You have done the courageous work. You have walked through the echo chamber of the mind, faced the invisible architect of your beliefs, shattered the mirror of the victim, and pulled the heavy anchor of the past from the seabed of your soul. And now, you find yourself standing in a new inner landscape, a vast, open, quiet space. For the first time, perhaps in your entire life, the relentless noise has subsided, the hurricane has passed, and what is left in its wake is a profound and unnerving stillness. Do not be afraid of this space. Our modern world has trained us to fear it. We have become a culture addicted to distraction, terrified of the void. We fill every spare moment with scrolling, with noise, with tasks, with anything to avoid the confrontation with this inner silence. We fear that if we stop, we will find nothing there. We fear that the silence is an emptiness, a confirmation of our own insignificance. This is the greatest lie you have ever been told. Today, we will reclaim this silence. We will learn that it is not an absence to be feared, but a presence to be revered. It is the sacred soil from which all creation is born. The relentless pursuit of noise is a symptom of a soul that has forgotten its own language. The ego mind identifies itself through doing, through thinking, through solving, through becoming. It needs constant input and output to feel real, to feel important. The soul, your true self, communicates in a different medium altogether. Its language is stillness. Its voice is a whisper, not a shout. For years, your mind has been a loud, crowded, chaotic room where the ego shouts its demands and fears through a megaphone. In this cacophony, the soul has been sitting quietly in the corner, waiting with infinite patience for you to finally grow tired of the noise. The inner conflict you feel now is the tension between the ego's habitual need to fill the space and the soul's deep, resonant invitation to simply be in it. When you first attempt to be still, your mind may rebel. It will throw thoughts at you like stones. It will create a phantom itch. It will remind you of 100 urgent tasks. This is not a sign of failure. It is the predictable resistance of a dethroned tyrant. Your job is not to fight it, but to simply sit with it, to breathe through it, and to gently, persistently choose the silence instead. Here is the core message that will transform this space from a void into a womb. Silence is not the absence of something. It is the presence of everything. It is the infinite, intelligent, conscious field of pure potential that underlies all of manifest reality. Think of the greatest symphony ever composed. What gives the notes their power and beauty? It is the silence between them. Without the rests, the pauses, the space, music would be an unbearable wall of noise. Think of a masterpiece painted on a canvas. The power of the image is defined by the empty space around it. The canvas is not nothing. It is the everything that makes the painting possible. The silence within you is this canvas. It is this sacred stillness. It is the backdrop of pure awareness against which the entire drama of your life unfolds. For your entire life, you have been staring at the chaotic drama, forgetting the profound, peaceful, and powerful presence of the backdrop itself. To enter the silence is to shift your gaze, to become acquainted with the very substance of God, of Source, of the creative intelligence of the cosmos. Let us use a metaphor that you can carry with you. Your mind is a lake. For decades, the winds of external opinion, the speedboats of endless distraction, and the undercurrents of your own anxieties have kept the surface of this lake in a state of constant turmoil. It has been choppy, murky, and chaotic. When you look into a turbulent lake, what can you possibly see? You see only a distorted, fragmented reflection of the chaos itself. You see your own agitation mirrored back at you, and you mistake this turmoil for your identity. You believe you are the stormy water. The practice of cultivating silence is the conscious act of calming these waters. You retreat from the winds of the world. You dock the speedboats of distraction. You allow the emotional currents to settle. And as you do this, a profound miracle occurs. The surface of the lake becomes still. It becomes as smooth and clear as polished glass. And now, when you look into it, You no longer see the chaos. For the first time, you see what the lake was always capable of reflecting, the infinite, vast and perfect sky above. You see the wisdom of the moon and the brilliant light of a billion stars. Your true nature was never the turmoil. It was, and always has been, the pristine, reflective capacity of the still water. The great insights, the elegant solutions to your problems, the flashes of creative genius, these are the stars. They have been shining in the sky of your consciousness all along, but you could never perceive them until you stilled the waters of your mind. This brings us to a practice, a gentle pilgrimage. It is not a demanding meditation, but an act of sacred remembrance. You must go into nature, intentionally, and you must go alone. The most crucial part of this practice is that you leave your devices behind. The phone is the modern mind's primary tool for avoiding silence. It is an umbilical cord to the collective noise. You must, for a short while, cut this cord. Go to a park, a forest, a beach, or simply a quiet tree-lined street. Your only goal is to walk without a destination. The walk itself is the purpose. As you walk, shift your attention from the inner world of thought to the outer world of the senses. Listen, but listen differently. Don't just hear birds. Try to distinguish the call of a single bird. Don't just hear wind. Listen to the sound it makes as it passes through pine needles versus how it sounds rustling oak leaves. Feel the temperature of the air on your cheeks. Notice the way the sunlight filters through the canopy and dapples the ground before you. You are not trying to empty your mind by force. You are giving it something so simple, so real, and so beautiful to hold that it naturally becomes quiet. You are synchronizing your own frantic rhythm with the calm, steady, and wise rhythm of the natural world. By doing this, you are engaging in one of a human being's most sacred activities. You are making yourself receptive. All of the work up to this point has been about clearing, releasing, and letting go. It has been an active process. The practice of silence is the beginning of a new phase. It is the phase of receiving. You have cleared the vessel. Now, you hold it up to the heavens, ready for it to be filled. You are creating a space within you for grace to enter. You are learning to listen. And it is in this listening, in this deep and profound silence, that the whispers finally come. These whispers are your intuition, your inner guidance. They are the quiet nudges, the sudden knowings, the inspired ideas that seem to come from nowhere. They are the voice of your soul, the voice of the universe, guiding you toward your highest path. They will not shout. They will not compete with the noise. They will only speak in the stillness you have so bravely cultivated. And as you sit in this newfound silence, as you become a connoisseur of stillness, you will begin to perceive something else. Beneath the quiet, behind the whispers, you will start to feel a hum, a current, a subtle thrumming. It is the bass note of the entire universe. It is the very vibration of existence, and it is the secret language of reality itself. As you learn to rest in the sanctuary of silence, a new sense of perception begins to awaken. Beneath the quiet, you start to detect a subtle, energetic hum. It is a current that runs under the surface of all things, a faint, rhythmic pulse. At first, it is almost imperceptible, like a bass note felt rather than heard. Do not dismiss this. This is not your imagination. You are beginning to perceive the fundamental nature of reality. You are feeling the universe's heartbeat. This is the vibration of being, the secret, unspoken language to which all of creation responds. To learn this language is to move from being a pawn in the game of life to a conscious player who understands the rules of its deepest physics. At the quantum level, the world is not as it seems. The solid chair you are sitting on, the very bones in your body, are not solid at all. They are composed of atoms which are, themselves, 99.999% empty space, populated by whirling vortices of energy. Everything in your universe, from a star to a stone to a thought, is ultimately just pure energy vibrating at a specific frequency. A rock has a very slow, dense vibration, which is why it appears solid. Light has an incredibly fast, high vibration, which is why it is ethereal. Your entire reality is a symphony of vibrations, a vast spectrum of frequencies. And you, as a conscious being, are the most complex and powerful vibrational instrument in this orchestra. The primary way you control your instrument's frequency is through the power of your emotions. Every feeling you experience has a distinct vibrational signature. Emotions like fear, shame, and guilt have a very low, slow, and heavy frequency. They are the discordant, muddy notes that drag your energy down. Emotions like love, joy, and gratitude have an exceptionally high, fast, and light frequency. They are the clear, resonant, harmonious notes that elevate your entire being. This is not poetry, it is physics. Here, we encounter a monumental conflict between two aspects of your being: the logical mind and the intuitive heart. Your rational mind, trained in the Newtonian world of cause and effect, struggles with this concept. It demands charts, graphs, and linear, predictable proof. It asks, how can simply feeling good possibly affect my external reality? It seems passive, delusional. I need a 5-step plan, a concrete strategy, something to do. The mind wants to analyze, to dissect, and to control. It is uncomfortable with any phenomenon that it cannot measure with its limited tools. The heart, however, understands this language implicitly. The heart is the organ of vibrational perception. It does not need to analyze why the feeling of dread is different from the feeling of peace. It simply knows the difference in its very essence. The conflict, therefore, is between the part of you that wants to figure reality out and the part of you that is being invited to simply feel your way through it. You must be willing to suspend the mind's skeptical protests and trust the wisdom of the feeling body. You must be willing to believe that being in a certain state is a far more powerful creative act than frantic doing. This leads us to the most misunderstood spiritual law of our time. It has been called the law of attraction, but this is a deeply misleading name. It implies that you are here and the things you want are over there, and you must do something to attract them to you. This is incorrect. It is, and always has been, the law of vibration, or, more accurately, the law of resonance. Like attracts like. A specific frequency can only connect with, perceive, and experience people, events, and circumstances that are vibrating at a similar frequency. It is not about attraction, it is about resonance. You are a living radio transmitter broadcasting a signal into the universe every second of every day. That signal is your predominant emotional state, your vibration of being. The universe, in turn, is filled with an infinite number of broadcasts: the frequency of lack, the frequency of joy, the frequency of struggle, the frequency of ease. You cannot listen to the beautiful symphony playing on 102.5 FM if your receiver is stubbornly tuned to the static at 88.3 AM. The symphony is not withholding itself from you. It is broadcasting to everyone, all the time. But you can only experience the broadcast you are tuned to. Your work is not to chase after the symphony. Your work is to retune your own receiver. Let us use the metaphor of a tuning fork. Imagine your soul, your true self, is a perfectly crafted tuning fork designed to ring at the crystal-clear frequency of pure joy and unconditional love. This is its natural, inherent state. But through years of life experience, this tuning fork has been mistreated. Every experience of fear, every moment of anger, every lingering guilt is like dipping the tuning fork in thick, heavy mud. Now, when life strikes it, what sound does it make? It makes a dull thud, a distorted, heavy, dissonant sound. It has forgotten its true note. The spiritual work you have done so far, clearing the noise, healing the past, has been the courageous process of cleaning the mud off the tuning fork. But now it is clean, it must be used. You must consciously choose to make it sing. Every time you choose to genuinely feel a moment of gratitude, you are striking your tuning fork. Every time you allow yourself to feel authentic joy, you are striking your tuning fork. And when it rings with its true, clear, powerful frequency, that note travels out into the quantum field. By the immutable law of resonance, everything in the universe that vibrates at that same frequency begins to vibrate in harmony with you. It has no choice. It must. And so, the people, the resources, the ideas, and the circumstances that match your new frequency are drawn effortlessly into your experience, not because you chased them, but because you called them home with the song of your own being. So, how do we practice this? How do we consciously strike our own tuning fork? We do it by fundamentally changing the primary question that governs our day. The old paradigm, driven by the mind, starts the day by asking, "What do I have to do today?" This question immediately puts you in a state of pressure, of obligation, of problem solving. It tunes you to the frequency of struggle. The new paradigm, guided by the heart, invites you to start your day by asking, before your feet even touch the floor, "How do I want to feel today?" Or more accurately, "What state of being do I choose to embody today?" Perhaps the answer is peace. Perhaps it is creative flow. Perhaps it is loved. Choose one word that represents the frequency you wish to broadcast. Then, immediately follow it with a second question. What is one small, simple thing I can do right now to taste that feeling? The goal is not to force yourself to feel it all day. The goal is to prove to yourself that you are the master of your own vibrational instrument. If your word is peace, the action might be to sit up and simply take 3 slow, conscious breaths, feeling the calm spread through your body. If your word is joy, the action might be to put on a song that makes you want to dance, even for 30 seconds. If your word is loved, the action might be to close your eyes and vividly recall the feeling of a heartfelt hug from someone dear to you, fully immersing yourself in the memory. This practice is you, the musician, picking up your instrument and consciously playing your chosen note. You are reminding yourself of its sound. You are showing your own subconscious mind and the universe what frequency you are choosing to be your keynote for the day. You are learning to speak the native language of reality. You have discovered the vocabulary of vibration. Now, you must learn to become fluent. You must learn how to take the specific, articulated desires of your mind and translate them, with precision, into the powerful, universal language of feeling that the universe understands not as a request, but as a command. You have arrived at the heart of the creative process. You have stilled the mind and awakened to the hum of the universe, the language of vibration. You now understand that your reality is a reflection of your predominant energetic state. But a crucial question remains: how do you speak this language with purpose? How do you translate the specific desires of your mind, a loving relationship, a thriving career, vibrant health, into the pure, universal language of frequency that the universe understands? The answer lies in a fundamental shift of focus from the object of your desire to the feeling behind it. This is the art of translating your human wants into divine commands. For your entire life, your mind has been trained to be object-oriented. It thinks in terms of nouns: a house, a car, a promotion, a partner. It constructs a simple equation: if I get that thing, I will feel this feeling. If I get the new job, I will feel secure. If I find the perfect partner, I will feel loved. If I make more money, I will feel free. We spend our lives chasing the things, believing they are the source of the feelings we crave. But this is a profound misunderstanding of creation. The thing is never the source. The thing is only ever a symbol, a channel through which a feeling you are capable of generating yourself can be expressed. You do not truly want the $1 million. You want the feeling of freedom and security. You do not truly want the relationship. You want the feeling of being cherished and understood. The universe does not operate on the level of symbols. It operates on the level of substance, and the substance is the feeling itself. To ask for the car is to speak a clumsy, secondary dialect. To ask for the feeling of freedom is to speak the pure, native tongue of reality. Here, you will face the ultimate test of your creative power, an inner conflict that separates the casual wisher from the conscious creator. It is the challenge of cultivating the feeling before you have the proof. Your logical mind will rebel with incredible force. How can I feel abundant when my bank account is empty? It's a lie. It's delusional. It will scream. How can I feel loved and cherished when I am sleeping alone every night? It feels pathetic and fake. This resistance is the guardian at the gate. It is the final defense mechanism of the ego, which only believes in the reality presented by the five senses. To overcome this, you must be willing to make a courageous choice. You must decide that your inner world of feeling is more real than the outer world of fact. This is not faking it. This is faithing it. It is an act of profound spiritual audacity to declare within yourself, "My current reality is just the echo of my past feelings and beliefs. I will no longer take my creative cues from an echo. I will generate the feeling of my future now, and I will hold that feeling with such conviction that reality has no choice but to rearrange itself in harmony with my new song." This redefines the very nature of prayer. The old model of prayer is one of supplication, of begging. Please God, please, universe, give me this thing I do not have. This prayer, while heartfelt, comes from a place of profound lack. Its core frequency is I am without. It affirms the very absence you wish to overcome. The universe, which only responds to your vibrational broadcast, dutifully reflects this lack back to you. The most powerful prayer you will ever utter is not one of supplication, but one of assumption. It is the prayer of embodying the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. It is the prayer of gratitude offered in advance. It is closing your eyes, asking for freedom, and then immediately allowing the feeling of spaciousness, of ease, of your shoulders dropping with relief, to permeate your entire body, and then whispering, "Thank you." This thank you is not a polite word. It is a vibrational seal of completion. It is the frequency of receiving. To feel the gratitude before the gift arrives is the highest form of faith, and it is the signal that commands the forces of creation into motion. Imagine you are ordering a valuable item from a master craftsman whom you trust implicitly. First, you decide exactly what you want. Then, you place your order. This act of placing the order is the process of immersing yourself in the feeling of having it. You feel the joy, the satisfaction, the excitement. Once the order is placed, the craftsman sends you a confirmation. Your order has been received and is now being created for you. In our analogy, this confirmation is the sense of peace and relief that washes over you when you truly connect with the feeling. Now, what do you do next? You go about your life with a sense of joyful anticipation. You trust the craftsman. You know your order is on its way. You do not call him every 5 minutes asking where it is. You do not worry about his supply chain or his shipping methods. To do so would be to radiate a frequency of doubt and mistrust, which is tantamount to canceling your order. This is the mistake we constantly make. We place our vibrational order by feeling good for a moment, and then spend the rest of the day radiating doubt, fear, and impatience, effectively jamming the signal. Your job is to place the order, and then maintain the frequency of trustful, joyful expectation. To make this tangible, we will use a powerful practice known as scripting. Dedicate a notebook to this purpose. This will be your book of creation. The practice is to write about your new reality, but with one crucial rule. You must write it in the present tense, as if it is happening now, or in the past tense, as if you are fondly remembering it. The emphasis must be entirely on the feelings. Do not simply write, "I am now a successful author." Instead, write, "I am sitting in my study this morning, holding a copy of my book, the scent of the paper and ink, so rich and real. But what's more real is the feeling in my chest, a profound sense of accomplishment and purpose." I remember the emails I received today from readers telling me how my words changed their lives. Each one sent a wave of warmth and overwhelming gratitude through my entire body. I feel so connected, so useful, so aligned with my soul's purpose. It's a feeling of deep, quiet, unshakable rightness. Fill the page with sensory details. What do you see from your window? What music is playing? What does your coffee taste like in this new reality? Describe the conversations you have, the feeling of the clothes you are wearing, the ease in your movements. Immerse your subconscious mind in a rich, believable, feeling-filled tapestry of your wish fulfilled. At the end of each entry, close your eyes, feel the truth of what you have written, and flood your heart with gratitude. Write it down. "I am so deeply and profoundly grateful for this life. Thank you, thank you, thank you." By doing this, you are not just daydreaming, you are performing a sacred act of alchemy. You are translating the lead of a vague desire into the gold of a specific vibrational reality. You are building the energetic blueprint, the detailed schematic that the universe will then use to construct your physical experience. This is the work, this is the art. But this potent, high-frequency energy you are now learning to generate is like a powerful river. To be effective, it requires strong, stable banks to guide it toward its destination. Without structure, this beautiful energy will dissipate into a swamp of inconsistency. This necessary structure is discipline, not as a punishment, but as the sacred act of forging a vessel worthy of the magnificent life you are creating. You are now learning to speak the language of the universe, translating the desires of your soul into the potent frequency of feeling. You are generating a powerful, creative energy, a current of intention designed to sculpt a new reality. But this energy, like a mighty river, requires direction. Without strong, stable banks to guide it, this river will overflow, its power dissipating into a swampy marsh of good intentions and inconsistent effort. To give this river its force and purpose, you must build these banks. This structure, this sacred container for your power, has a name that our culture has taught us to fear. That name is discipline. Forget everything you have ever been told about that word. Erase the images of punishing drill sergeants, joyless austerity, and the harsh restriction of your freedom. This is a false, external definition of discipline, and it is why our attempts at it so often fail. We have been taught that discipline is a punishment you inflict upon yourself for not being good enough. The truth is that discipline is the highest form of self-love you can practice. It is the ultimate act of respect for the future self you are creating. It is you, the conscious creator, lovingly building a vessel strong enough to hold the blessings you are asking for. It is the act of saying no to the momentary, fleeting comforts of the lower self, in order to say a resounding, powerful yes to the magnificent destiny of your higher self. Within you, a constant war of wills is being waged. On one side, there is your impulsive, comfort-seeking self. It is the part of you that wants to hit the snooze button, to eat the junk food, to lose hours scrolling through the lives of others, to procrastinate on the important work. It operates on the principle of immediate gratification. On the other side is your higher self, the wise, visionary part of you that holds the blueprint for your becoming. It knows what is required. It knows the value of the meditation, the healthy meal, the focused work. Its voice is often quieter, drowned out by the loud demands of the immediate moment. Every single day, you make a choice. Every time you give in to the impulsive self, you cast a vote for mediocrity. You send a message to the universe, and more importantly, to your own subconscious mind, that your comfort is more important than your dream. You erode, bit by bit, the foundation of your own self-trust. Every time you honor the quiet wisdom of your higher self, you cast a vote for your own greatness. You prove to yourself that you are worthy of your vision. You build self-respect, integrity, and personal power. How can you expect the universe to conspire to help you if your daily actions demonstrate that you will not even conspire to help yourself? This brings us to the great paradox and the core message of this teaching. Discipline does not limit your freedom. It is the sole creator of it. It is the lack of discipline that is the true prison. To be a slave to your moods, to be dictated by your cravings, to be a puppet of your procrastination, that is the most profound form of bondage. You are trapped in the cage of your own whims. True, conscious discipline is the key that unlocks that cage. It is the bridge you build, plank by plank, with your daily choices, that allows you to walk from the land of wishing to the land of having. Without this bridge, your greatest desires will remain forever on the far side of a canyon, an impossible dream you can see but never touch. Discipline is the loving act of taking your own hand and walking yourself across that bridge every single day. Let us think of you as a master blacksmith and your character as the vessel you are forging. Your desire for a new life is the raw, unformed metal. It has potential, but in its current state, it is soft and useless. To transform this metal into something powerful and beautiful, a sharp, unbreakable sword or a sacred chalice must be subjected to fire and pressure. Discipline is the fire that burns away impurities and the steady hammer that shapes and tempers the steel. Each time you choose the workout over the couch, you are striking the hammer. Each time you choose to sit in silence instead of reaching for your phone, you are striking the hammer. Each time you keep a small promise to yourself, you are striking the hammer. This process is not always comfortable. It requires heat and pressure, but it is not punishment. It is the sacred alchemical process of strengthening your own being, of making yourself into a vessel that will not shatter when the potent wine of your desire is finally poured into it. The universe will not pour a gallon of abundance into a thimble-sized container of your self-worth and integrity. You must build a worthy vessel. So where do we begin? Not with a grand, overwhelming gesture, but with a small, unbreakable vow. We will build this fortress of self-trust with a single, perfectly laid stone. Your practice is to choose one commitment that is so small, so simple, that it is almost impossible to fail. We will call this the unbreakable commitment. Your goal here is not the outcome of the habit itself. It is the simple, repeated act of proving to yourself that you are a person who does what they say they will do. Perhaps your commitment is this: every morning when I wake, I will drink one full glass of water before I do anything else. Perhaps it is: every day, I will sit in silence for 60 seconds. Perhaps every night before sleep, I will write down one specific thing I am grateful for. Choose one. Make it laughably easy. Now, treat this small promise as the most important vow you have ever made. It is a sacred contract with your own soul. No matter how tired you are, no matter how uninspired you feel, no matter what chaos is happening around you, you keep this promise. You honor this vow. With each passing day that you fulfill this simple act, you are sending a powerful signal. You are telling your subconscious mind, I am in charge. I am a person who honors my word. My choices are not dictated by my moods. They are dictated by my will. Each success, no matter how small, adds a drop of water to a reservoir of self-respect. Soon, that reservoir becomes a pool, then a lake. From this place of earned self-trust, you can then add a second commitment and a third. You will find that it becomes easier because you are no longer operating from a place of self-doubt, but from a new identity. the identity of someone who shows up. This is the bedrock of all manifestation. It is the act of becoming a person who is an energetic match for a life that is built on reliability, consistency, and integrity. You are aligning your actions with your intentions. You are harmonizing your doing with your being. And this sacred act of discipline, this promise kept between you and you, can only ever be performed in one place. It cannot be fulfilled yesterday, nor can it be planned for tomorrow. It must be forged with focus and presence on the only ground that has ever truly existed, the sacred and all-powerful altar of the present moment. The vessel of your being has been forged in the loving fire of discipline. You have made a sacred vow to yourself, a promise to align your actions with the vision held by your highest self. But this vow, this act of integrity, can only be honored in one place and at one time. It cannot be fulfilled in the regrets of yesterday, nor in the anxieties of tomorrow. It must be enacted here, now, on the only ground that is real, on the only stage where life unfolds, the sacred and all-powerful altar of the present moment. This is the key that unlocks all other keys. For without presence, all other practices are but ghosts of themselves. Your mind is a time traveler. It is a restless ghost, perpetually haunting the graveyards of the past or scouting the misty, uncertain landscapes of the future. It replays old conversations, dissects past mistakes, and nurses ancient wounds. Or it leaps forward, rehearsing for disasters that will likely never happen, fantasizing about salvation that never seems to arrive, and generating a low-grade hum of anxiety about what comes next. Notice this in yourself. Even as you listen to these words, a part of your mind may be thinking about what you will do later, or ruminating on what happened earlier. This is its conditioned state, its default setting, and it is the most subtle and pervasive thief of your creative power. Why does the mind do this? Because the ego, the false, constructed self, cannot survive in the present moment. Its entire identity is built from the bricks of past stories and the mortar of future fears. I am the person who failed in business. I am the person who will one day be happy when I find a partner. In the pure, unadulterated reality of the now, stripped of thought, these stories dissolve. In the now, you are not your past and you are not your future. You simply are. This isness is the death of the ego, and so it will fight with all its might to pull you back into the comfortable illusion of psychological time. This creates the central conflict of the awakened consciousness, the intellectual knowing that the now is all that matters, versus the deeply ingrained, powerful, addictive habit of living somewhere else. The pendulum of the mind swings endlessly between two states: depression, which is living too much in the past, and anxiety, which is living too much in the future. We believe that by dwelling on the future, we can control it. We believe that by analyzing the past, we can fix it. But these are both grand illusions. You cannot control a future that does not exist. You can only meet it when it arrives as another present moment. You cannot change a past that is dead and gone. You can only transform your present relationship to its memory. The constant swing of the pendulum is exhausting, and it generates the very low-frequency energies of fear and regret that create more of the same. Your power is not on the pendulum. Your power is at the still point from which it swings. Here is the core message, the liberating truth that stills the pendulum. All of your power is here, now. The past has no power over you, other than the power you give it by focusing your present moment attention upon it. The future is not created by worrying about it. The future is created by the quality of your consciousness in this very moment. Every choice you make, every disciplined act you perform, every feeling you intentionally generate happens in the now. The present moment is not just a fleeting sliver of time between what was and what will be. It is a portal. It is a vertical dimension of being that cuts through the horizontal timeline of your life. It is the only point of access to the timeless, formless, creative field of all potential. To be unpresent is to be powerless, to stand outside the workshop of creation, looking in through a dirty window. To be fully present is to step inside, to pick up the tools, and to become the master craftsman of your own experience. Imagine your journey through time as a walk down a long corridor. To your left is a vast, decaying museum filled with all the artifacts of your past. Some are beautiful, but many are broken, covered in the dust of regret. You can spend your entire life wandering its halls, endlessly cataloging, analyzing and polishing these relics. To your right is a vast, dark theater filled with a swirling, disorienting fog. Within the fog, 1,000,000 possible future movies are being projected simultaneously, most of them written and directed by your anxious ego. You can spend your life lost in this theater, trying to find a clear path, paralyzed by the terrifying phantoms you imagine in the mist. Between this haunted museum and this frightening theater, there is a single, narrow, unassuming doorway. It seems insignificant compared to the dramatic spaces on either side. This doorway is the present moment. It is the sacred altar. It is the only place in the entire corridor where life is actually happening. Your greatest task is to withdraw your fascination with the museum of the past and the theater of the future, and to cultivate the simple, profound courage to walk, step by step, through that narrow doorway of the now. To do this, you need a practical tool, an anchor that can immediately pull your scattered consciousness out of the illusory worlds of past and future and into the tangible reality of the here and now. The most effective anchor you will ever find is your own body and its 5 senses. The body does not live in the past or the future. It only exists now. To connect with your senses is to come home to the present moment instantly. This is the practice of the 5 senses anchor. The moment you notice yourself lost in thought, feeling anxious, worried, or regretful, you have become aware, and that is the first victory. In that moment of awareness, intentionally choose to anchor yourself. Bring your full attention to the sense of touch. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet. Feel the pressure of your body on the chair. Notice the subtle sensation of the air moving against your skin. Feel the texture of your own clothing. Your body is undeniably here, now, or anchor in sound. Close your eyes and simply listen. Do not label what you hear. Just receive the vibrations. Hear the hum of electricity, the distant traffic, the beating of your own heart. Let the soundscape of the present moment wash over you without judgment, or anchor in sight. Pick a single object in your field of vision: a pen, a leaf, a crack in the wall. Look at it as if you have never seen it before. Observe its color, its shape, its texture, the way the light interacts with it. See its pure isness beyond your mind's label for it. By doing this, you are yanking your attention out of the abstract world of thought and grounding it in concrete reality. This is a circuit breaker for anxiety. It is an instant portal back to your point of power. This is not another task to add to your list. It is a new way of living. It is the foundation upon which all the other work rests. The disciplined vessel you have forged is only useful upon the altar of the now. The powerful feelings you generate are only creative when they are felt now. The focused attention you direct is only effective when it is projected from the now. By practicing this art of returning again and again to the present moment, you cultivate a state of profound peace and potent readiness. You become an open channel, clear and grounded. And as you stand firmly on this sacred ground, you create the perfect conditions to cultivate the single most magnetic frequency in the universe, the ultimate catalyst that signals to the cosmos that you are ready and willing to receive. This is the profound and transformative physics of gratitude. You are standing now on the sacred ground of the present moment. The vessel of your being is strong, your attention is focused, and the noise of the past has been quieted. From this potent, clear, and centered space, you are perfectly positioned to cultivate the single most powerful and magnetic frequency in the creative universe. It is the master key that unlocks the floodgates of abundance, the great amplifier of all your intentions, the feeling that signals to the cosmos that you are not just ready, but are actively receiving its gifts. This is the profound and transformative physics of gratitude. We have been taught to think of gratitude as a simple courtesy, a polite thank you offered after a gift has been received. We see it as the end point of a transaction. This is a profound misunderstanding of its power. In the economy of the universe, gratitude is not the payment you make at the end. It is the energetic down payment that initiates the entire delivery. It is not a reaction to a positive event. It is the creative cause of positive events. When you feel genuine gratitude, you are broadcasting the most beautiful and coherent signal into the quantum field. You are emitting the frequency of fulfillment. Your entire being vibrates with the message, I am cared for, I am supported, I am already blessed, I have enough. This signal of having is the polar opposite of the desperate, needy frequency of wanting. And the universe, which is an impartial mirror reflecting your own energy, receives your broadcast of having and has no choice but to orchestrate circumstances, people, and events that bring you more experiences, that match that feeling, more reasons to be grateful. It is the ultimate positive feedback loop. Herein lies one of the most significant inner conflicts on the spiritual path. When life is challenging, when the evidence of your senses points to lack, sickness, or loneliness, the mind protests vehemently against the practice of gratitude. It screams, be grateful for what? For these bills I cannot pay, for this body that is in pain, for this crushing loneliness. It's absurd. It's dishonest. The mind makes gratitude conditional. It says, I will be grateful when my problems are solved. It wants to see the proof before it offers the feeling. But this is like a gardener standing before a barren plot of land, saying, I will water this ground when I see a flower. It is a reversal of the creative process. The soul knows a deeper truth. It knows that gratitude is the water that makes the flower grow. Your work is not to ignore the problems, but to consciously withdraw your primary energetic focus from them and find something, anything, no matter how small, for which you can feel genuine gratitude right now. This is not an act of denial. It is an act of profound wisdom, shifting your energetic center of gravity from the frequency of the problem to the frequency of the solution. This leads us to the core message. Gratitude is not a celebration of receiving. Gratitude is the very state of receiving itself. Imagine your energy field. When you are in a state of complaint, worry, or fear, your energy is contracted, tight, defensive. You are like a clenched fist, incapable of receiving anything. When you shift into a state of genuine gratitude, your energy field literally changes. It becomes open, expansive, warm, and magnetic. You become an open hand. You are broadcasting to all levels of reality that you are available for blessings. You are energetically saying yes to life. Think of it this way: lack and gratitude cannot occupy the same space at the same time. You cannot genuinely feel grateful and feel lack simultaneously. Therefore, the moment you choose gratitude, you have, by definition, stepped out of the frequency of lack. You have changed the channel. You have become an energetic match for abundance. Let us use a simple metaphor. Imagine you are at a magnificent universal banquet. The cosmos is the generous host, endlessly offering appetizers, drinks, and nourishing meals. If you sit at your table complaining that the water is not cold enough, that you don't like the music, that your chair is uncomfortable, you are radiating a frequency of dissatisfaction. The host, seeing your disposition, will likely pass your table by, thinking, this guest is not enjoying what is on offer. But if you sit at your table, and genuinely savor the crispness of the water, feel thankful for the comfortable chair, and express your appreciation for the beautiful music, you radiate a frequency of appreciation. The host will notice you, smile, and say, "Ah, here is a guest who appreciates my efforts. Let me bring them the finest dish from the kitchen." Your gratitude is a powerful confirmation signal to the universe. It says, "This, I like this. More of this, please." It is the most effective and gracious way to place your order. To bring this powerful force into your daily life, you must engage in a practice. We will call it the gratitude rampage. It is not a chore, but a joyful exploration. It is best done either first thing in the morning to set the vibrational tone for your entire day, or last thing at night, to marinate your subconscious mind in a state of fulfillment as you sleep. Begin with the small and the immediate. Do not try to force yourself to feel grateful for abstract concepts. Start with your own body, this incredible vessel. Place your hand on your heart and say, "I am so truly grateful for this heart, which has been beating faithfully for me every second of every day of my life, without a single command from me." Feel that. Then, "I am so grateful for my lungs, that they breathe the air for me, keeping me alive." Move outwards. "I am grateful for the roof over my head that keeps me safe and warm. I am grateful for the bed that I rested in. I am grateful for the clean water I have access to." Now, let the momentum build. This is the rampage. Let one thought of gratitude cascade into another. "I am grateful for my morning coffee, and for the electricity that powers the coffee maker, and for the brilliant minds who figured out how to harness electricity, and for the farmers who grew these beans, and for the earth itself, this incredible planet that provides such abundance." Do you see? You are starting a chain reaction of positive focus. The goal is not just to make a list. The list is merely the key that starts the engine. The goal is to generate the warm, expansive, palpable feeling of gratitude in your chest and in your heart. When you find one thought that truly ignites that feeling, linger there, bask in it. Let that feeling saturate every cell of your being. That feeling is your prayer. That feeling is your power. Practicing gratitude is the great amplifier. It takes all the work you have done, your discipline, your focus, your present sand, it supercharges it. It is the catalyst that dissolves resistance and accelerates the manifestation of your desires. It aligns you not with a universe you must conquer or convince, but with a universe that is inherently benevolent, abundant, and eager to conspire on your behalf. As you master the art of unconditional gratitude, especially for the things you do not yet see with your eyes, you move beyond merely creating your reality. You enter into a conscious, joyful dance of co-creation with the cosmos itself. And from this open-hearted, high-frequency state of presence and appreciation, you are no longer a leaf in the wind. You are now standing alert and empowered before the great gate of your own mind, holding the authority to make conscious, deliberate choices that will sculpt your destiny, moment by powerful moment. Through the lens of gratitude, the world begins to reveal its inherent benevolence. Standing on the firm ground of the present moment, your heart open and your mind clear, you have arrived at a place of immense power and clarity. From this high plateau, you can see the landscape of your life not as a single predetermined road, but as a field of infinite, branching possibilities. Every single moment, you stand before a gate. It is the gate of choice. For most of your life, you may not have even realized you were the gatekeeper. You have allowed circumstances and ingrained habits to make your choices for you. Now, that is about to change. It is time to step into your role as the sovereign of your inner kingdom and move from a life of automatic reaction to a life of deliberate creation. Consider the rhythm of an ordinary day. The alarm clock rings and you react with a groan. A notification flashes on your phone and you react by picking it up. Someone says something you disagree with and you react with a defensive thought. You feel a pang of boredom, and you react by seeking a distraction. We believe we are living a life of free will, but for many, life is an unconscious series of stimulus and response loops. These are not choices, they are scripts. They are deeply grooved neural pathways, programs that were installed in your youth and have been running on autopilot ever since. This is the path of least resistance. It is familiar, it is easy, and it requires almost no conscious energy. It is a sophisticated form of sleepwalking where you navigate your days with the illusion of control, all while being guided by the invisible hand of your past conditioning. This is not freedom. It is the most common form of imprisonment in the modern world. The inner conflict you face now is between the seductive comfort of this autopilot existence and the demanding yet exhilarating path of conscious choice. The ego mind loves the automatic program. It is efficient and predictable. It keeps you safe within the known territory of who you have always been. To make a conscious choice, especially a choice that goes against your conditioning, like responding with compassion instead of anger, or choosing stillness over distraction, requires energy. It requires presence. It feels like trying to turn a colossal ship. It takes effort to fight the momentum of the old direction. The voice of impulse shouts for immediate gratification. The voice of your higher self whispers of long-term expansion. The war for your destiny is won or lost in these small, seemingly insignificant moments of choice. Here is the core message, the truth that hands you the scepter of your own sovereignty. You are the gatekeeper. No thought can enter your mind, no emotion can take root in your heart, and no action can be commanded of your body without your consent. For most of your life, this consent has been given away unconsciously. You have left the gate to your inner kingdom unguarded, allowing any stray thought of fear, any passing circumstance, any opinion from another to wander in, set up camp, and dictate your inner weather. To awaken is to return to your post. It is to stand at the gate of your own awareness and to take up your sacred responsibility. This does not mean you can stop thoughts from arriving at the gate. The winds of the world will always blow, but you have the absolute and divine authority to decide which thoughts you will invite in for tea and which you will politely deny entry. This is not a practice of violent suppression. It is a practice of discerning selection. You are no longer a passive host to every mental visitor. You are the master of the house. Let us expand our metaphor of the garden. Your mind is a fertile and sacred plot of land. The world outside the garden walls is a wilderness, teeming with every kind of seed imaginable, seeds of love, genius, and inspiration, but also seeds of doubt, comparison, and despair, all carried on the wind. For years, the gate to your garden has been swinging open in the breeze. Weeds have grown so thick they have starved the flowers. The practice of deliberate choice is the act of walking calmly to the gate and assuming your position. When a thought seed arrives, you pick it up and examine it in the light of your awareness. A seed of self-criticism. No, thank you. You are not welcome in this garden. You close the gate and let it blow away. Another seed arrives. A seed of a creative idea. Yes, you are most welcome. You open the gate, carry it to a prepared space, plant it, and water it with your focused attention. Do you see the power in this? You are no longer at the mercy of the random winds of life. You are the conscious, deliberate curator of your inner landscape, choosing with precision what you will allow to grow. To make this practical, you need a reliable compass, a tool to help you discern which choice leads toward expansion and which leads toward contraction. The analytical mind is not the best tool for this, as it can rationalize any decision. The body, however, does not lie. Its wisdom is immediate and true. The practice is this. Whenever you are at a crossroads of choice, whether it is a monumental decision or a minor one, you must first pause. Take a single conscious breath. Bring your awareness out of the chatter of your head and into the feeling space of your body. Then, ask your inner being 2 questions. First, as I consider this choice, does my energy feel like it is expanding or contracting? Pay close attention to the physical sensation. An expansive feeling is a sense of opening, lightness, flow, excitement, or peace, even if it's mixed with a little fear of the unknown. A contractive feeling is a sense of tightening in your chest or gut, of heaviness, of dread, of resistance. That feeling of contraction is your soul's gentle no. That feeling of expansion is your soul's resonant yes. Learn to trust this inner compass above all else. It knows the way. The second question to ask is this choice leading me closer to the person I intend to become, or is it reinforcing the person I have been? This question cuts through all excuses. Does eating this food align with the vibrant, healthy person you are becoming? Does engaging in this conversation align with the peaceful, positive person you are becoming? Does taking this job align with the free and creative person you are becoming? Each choice is a building block of your future self. You must choose the blocks with care. This is how a new life is built, not in one dramatic leap, but in 1,000 small, conscious choices that honor your vision. Each time you choose expansion over contraction, you are casting a vote for your own evolution. Each time you choose the action that aligns with your future self, you are making that future self more real, more solid, more inevitable. You are no longer just a reactor to a pre-written script. You are the writer, the director, and the star of your own magnificent production. And now that you have become the master of your choices, standing as the vigilant gatekeeper of your mind, you are no longer just clearing the path. You are actively paving it. You have earned the authority to consciously design the destination. It is time to pick up the pen, for you are about to begin writing the script for the very future self you have so powerfully chosen to become. As the vigilant gatekeeper of your mind, you have reclaimed your power of choice. You are no longer a passive observer of a life dictated by past programming. You stand now as its active architect, its deliberate author. The foundation has been cleared, the vessel has been forged, and the connection to the present moment is strong. It is time now to engage in the most sublime and potent of all creative acts. It is time to pick up the pen of your focused imagination and write, with feeling and with faith, the script of the reality you desire. This is not a flight of fancy or a childish daydream. It is the sophisticated practice of using the most powerful technology in the universe, your own consciousness. Your mind, specifically your subconscious mind, does not know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and an event that is physically happening. When you immerse yourself in an imaginal act with the full spectrum of sensory detail and emotion, your brain and your body respond as if it were real. Your brain forges new neural pathways, your nervous system adapts, and your body produces the very same chemistry, the hormones and neurotransmitters that it would in the physical fulfillment of that event. You are, in the most literal sense, rehearsing for your future. You are building the neurological and biological framework that will make the future state feel familiar, natural, and inevitable. When you repeatedly and faithfully imagine yourself as the person who is healthy, wealthy, and loved, you are reconditioning your body to a new mind. You are becoming, at a cellular level, the person you intend to be, long before the evidence appears in your three-dimensional world. This is not wishing, it is a form of spiritual and biological engineering. The inner conflict you must now conquer is the tyranny of your 5 senses. Your senses are reporters of historical data. They bring you information about a world that is the shadow cast by your past thoughts and feelings. Your bank statement is an echo of your old beliefs about money. Your reflection in the mirror is an echo of your old beliefs about your body. Your current circumstances are the lagging result of your previous state of being. The conflict is a battle of belief. Will you place your faith in the lagging, out-of-date report of your senses? Or will you place your faith in the vibrant, living, creative reality of your disciplined imagination? The ego will champion the senses. It will point to the hard facts and label your inner work as delusion, as fantasy, as dangerous escapism. It will demand that you be realistic. But the great secret is that the physical world is malleable. It is the world of imagination, the world of consciousness, that is the true underlying reality. The shadow cannot change the light that casts it. You must be willing to trust the inner vision more than the outer fact. This brings us to the core message, a principle of immense power. You must learn to live from the end, not move towards it. The common mistake in visualization is to see your desire as something in the future, something separate from you that you are trying to attract. You imagine yourself over here and your dream home over there. This maintains the energetic frequency of separation and lack. The true art is to collapse this distance entirely. You must, in your imagination, move into the desired state and then think and feel from that perspective. Do not imagine yourself receiving the keys to your new home. Instead, imagine yourself inside that home, looking out your favorite window, feeling the morning sun on your face, and thinking about what you will do later in the day. Do not imagine the wedding ceremony. Imagine it is a year later, and you are feeling the comfortable, familiar weight of the wedding ring on your finger as you do a simple, everyday task. You are not chasing a future event. You are embodying a present reality. You are assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the subtle but profound shift from asking to becoming. Let us use the powerful metaphor of a method actor preparing for the role of a lifetime. A mediocre actor simply memorizes their lines. A great method actor becomes the character. They research the character's history, adopt their mannerisms, and begin to think and feel as the character would. They immerse themselves so deeply in the role that their performance becomes utterly authentic, captivating the audience and shaping the reality of the play. You are now to become a method actor for the role of your ideal self. The role is the person who is abundantly wealthy, or the person who is deeply loved and secure, or the person who is vibrantly healthy and alive. Your practice is to study this character. How would this version of you walk? How would they breathe? What would be the first feeling they feel upon waking in the morning? What kind of thoughts would they entertain during the day? Your work is to rehearse this role internally with such consistency and feeling that you begin to embody it. And when you embody a new character with unwavering conviction, the stage of the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match you, providing the props, the scenery, and the supporting cast that your new role requires. The most potent time for this practice is in the moments that bracket your sleep. This technique is often called the state akin to sleep, or SATS. In that drowsy, magical state just before you fall asleep, and in the quiet moments just as you awaken, the conscious, analytical mind is subdued. The gatekeeper is sleepy, and the door to the powerful, receptive subconscious mind is wide open. This is when you plant the seed. Here is the practice. As you are lying in bed, ready for sleep, relax your body completely. Let go of the day. Then, construct a short, simple, symbolic scene in your imagination that would imply your wish is already a fact. The scene must be experienced in the first person. It should not be long or complex. If you desire a promotion, you might imagine a close friend shaking your hand and saying, "I am so happy for you. I knew you would do it." Feel the grip of their hand, hear the specific tone of their voice. Feel the surge of pride and gratitude in your chest. If you desire marriage, you might simply loop the sensation of a wedding band on your finger, feeling its solid, comforting weight as you turn it. If you desire wealth, you might imagine the feeling of relief and security as you look at a bank statement on your phone, seeing the number you desire. The key is to make the scene sensory and full of feeling. It is the feeling that impresses the subconscious mind. Once you have your short scene, loop it. Play it over and over again in your imagination, gently, like a lullaby. Do not strain or force it. Simply allow the feeling of the scene to saturate your being as you drift off into sleep. In doing so, you are giving your subconscious mind its instructions for the night. You are handing it the blueprint of the reality you wish for it to construct. You are impregnating the darkness with the light of a new possibility. This is the height of active, conscious creation. It is the deliberate act of choosing your future and embodying it in the present. It is the ultimate expression of faith, not a blind faith in an external power, but a deep and abiding faith in the creative power of your own focused consciousness. You have now planted a potent seed in the most fertile soil imaginable. You have created a new energetic potential that is quietly gestating in the womb of the universe. But a seed, once planted, still requires a catalyst to begin its journey up through the soil and into the light. You must now learn to recognize the gentle, effortless nudges and synchronicities that the universe will send your way. These are the winds of inspiration that will help your seed to sprout and will guide you on the path of its glorious unfoldment. This is the art of inspired action. You have now performed the most sacred of creative acts. In the quiet temple of your own consciousness, you have scripted your future. You have inhabited the feeling of your wish fulfilled and impressed this new reality upon the deep, fertile soil of the subconscious mind. You have planted a potent seed. A common question arises at this point, a question born of a lifetime of conditioning. What do I do now? Do I simply sit and wait for the harvest? What is the role of action in this new paradigm of creation? The answer is that you must learn to distinguish between two profoundly different kinds of doing. There is action born of force, and there is action born of flow. One is the way of struggle, the other is the way of grace. Let us first examine action from lack, from force. This is the action our society glorifies. It is hustle culture. It originates from the anxious, fearful belief that my desire is not here yet, and it is my sole responsibility to struggle and strive to make it happen. This action feels heavy. It feels like pushing a boulder uphill. It is fueled by adrenaline, by the need to control every variable, and by a deep-seated fear that if you stop pushing for even a moment, the boulder will roll back and crush you. This is the energy of a person trying to force a locked door. While this kind of brute force can occasionally yield results, it always comes at an immense energetic cost. It leads to stress, exhaustion, and burnout, for you are attempting to power the entire creative process with only the limited battery of your own personal will. Then there is inspired action. This is action from abundance, from flow. It does not originate from a place of lack, but from a place of alignment. It is the natural, external consequence of the inner state you have so carefully cultivated. Having already felt the reality of your desire, you are not acting to get it. You are acting as the person who already has it. Inspired action does not feel like a heavy obligation, but like a light, joyful, and often spontaneous urge. It is not a have to, but a get to. It is the universe, having received your clear vibrational signal, now meeting you halfway, orchestrating events, and presenting you with the perfect, effortless next step. It is you, no longer trying to force the locked door, but instead noticing that a key has just appeared in your hand. Our inner conflict is a battle between these two approaches. We are deeply conditioned to believe that effort equals worth. The idea of waiting for a gentle, inspired nudge can feel profoundly uncomfortable. It can trigger deep-seated feelings of guilt and laziness. The ego screams, "You can't just sit there. You have to do something. You have to make it happen." It equates stillness with stagnation and effortless action with passivity. This is the voice of the old paradigm, the belief that creation is a battle to be won through struggle, The spiritual truth we are now embracing is that creation is a dance to be enjoyed through alignment. Your work is not to make it happen, but to let it happen through you, by becoming a clear channel for inspired intelligence to flow. This leads to a radical reframing of the role of action. In the old model, strenuous action is seen as the cause of the result. In this new model of vibrational creation, your aligned state of being is the true cause. Inspired action is merely an effect. It is part of the beautiful, intricate delivery process. The action itself is not what magically produces the outcome. The action is the natural, physical unfolding of the vibrational reality you have already created within. It is the bridge of incidents, the series of synchronicities and opportunities that the universe arranges to move you from your present position to your desired destination. Your only job is to maintain your alignment so that you can recognize the next step on the bridge when it appears, and to trust the process enough to joyfully step onto it. Imagine your journey as an ocean crossing in a sailboat. Creating from force and lack is like finding yourself on a windless day. Convinced you must move forward at all costs, you grab the heavy oars and begin to row. Your muscles burn, your back aches, you sweat and strain. You are moving, yes, but it is a brutal, inefficient, and exhausting struggle against the dead weight of the water. Now consider the path of inspired action. It begins not with rowing, but with inner work. You meditate, you script, you feel gratitude. This is the equivalent of studying the weather patterns and waiting for the right wind. Then, when the time is right, you do not reach for the oars. You simply, calmly raise your sails. The powerful, unseen wind of the universe, the spirit of inspiration catches in the canvas, and the boat begins to glide across the water. It moves faster and more gracefully than you ever could have by rowing. You are not passive, you are still an active and essential participant. You must hold the tiller, you must steer, you must adjust the sails. But the primary motive force is not your own brute strength. It is your intelligent, willing cooperation with a power far greater than yourself. The practical application of this is to become a master listener, a detective of divine breadcrumbs. After you have done your inner work, your scripting, your sats, your gratitude practice, let it go. Go about your day in a state of relaxed, open awareness. Your only task is to pay attention to the gentle nudges, the quiet hunches, the spontaneous impulses that bubble up from the stillness within. These nudges are often quiet and may seem illogical. It might be a sudden, inexplicable urge to call a friend you haven't spoken to in months. It might be a strong desire to walk down a street you don't normally take, or to visit a particular bookstore. It might be a persistent curiosity to research a topic that seems completely unrelated to your stated goal. These are the whispers of inspired action. They will feel light, expansive, and often joyful. They will not feel heavy, burdensome, or like an obligation. The practice is simple. You must honor these nudges. You must trust the breadcrumb trail without needing to see the entire loaf of bread. Make the call. Visit the shop. Read the article. Do not question the why. Your logical mind will not be able to connect the dots looking forward. It is an act of supreme faith to follow these intuitive impulses, trusting that they are the next step on the bridge of incidents being laid out for you. Each time you obey a joyful, inspired nudge, you are communicating to the universe, I hear you, I trust you, I am willing to be your partner in this dance. You do not need to see the entire staircase. Your only responsibility is to take the very next step that is illuminated for you. This is how you transform creation from a struggle into a joyful adventure of discovery. Action ceases to be a desperate effort to get something you don't have, and becomes a delightful process of watching how the universe delivers a reality that is already yours in spirit. You are following the trail markers that have been left for you on the path to a destination that is already guaranteed by your inner state. Each inspired action you take is a confirmation that you are in the flow, that you are on the right track. But as you joyfully follow these breadcrumbs, a new and subtle challenge may arise. It is the temptation to grip too tightly, to become too attached to the outcome of your actions, to force the process. There is a fine art to this dance of creation. You must learn to hold your vision with clarity, while simultaneously releasing your desperate need for it to unfold in a specific time or way. You must learn to plant your seed with faith, and then trust the soil and the seasons without digging it up every day to check on its growth. This is the sacred and powerful paradox of detachment. You are now dancing with the universe, moving in a state of joyful flow. Following the trail of divine breadcrumbs, you take inspired action, and you feel yourself being carried effortlessly toward the manifestation of your desire. It is a beautiful, exhilarating state of co-creation. But here, at this advanced stage of the dance, a new and subtle challenge emerges. It is the temptation to tighten your grip, to become attached to the outcome, to mistake the dance for a race. As you see your desire getting closer, the ego often steps in and tries to control the final steps, to force the timing. This is the moment you must learn one of the most profound and paradoxical arts of creation, the art of sacred detachment. You must learn how to desire with the full intensity of your heart, while simultaneously releasing all desperate need for it to happen. Let us first diagnose the energy of attachment. Desire, in its pure form, is a clean, high-frequency signal of intention. It is a clear picture of what you are calling forth. Attachment, however, is desire that has been contaminated and corrupted by fear. It is the fear that you will not get what you want. It is the fear that you are not worthy of it. It is the fear that it is taking too long, or that you are doing something wrong. This fear transforms the clean signal of desire into the static-filled, needy frequency of desperation. Neediness is a state of profound lack. It energetically screams to the universe, "I am incomplete without this. My happiness depends entirely on this outcome." This clinging, desperate energy is repulsive. It creates a vibrational field that pushes away the very thing you seek. It is like chasing a butterfly. The more desperately you lunge for it, the more erratically it flutters away. It is only when you sit still and become a peaceful flower that the butterfly may choose to land upon you. This presents what seems to be an impossible inner conflict. How, the logical mind asks, can I possibly burn with passion for a goal and at the same time be completely okay if it never happens? This feels like a contradiction, but it is only a contradiction to the ego. The ego's happiness is always conditional. I will be happy when. The awakened soul, your true self, understands that its state of peace and wholeness is unconditional. It does not depend on external circumstances. The practice of detachment is the act of aligning with this soul perspective. It is the ultimate spiritual test. Can you find your wholeness now, before the manifestation arrives? Can you be happy now, for no reason at all? If you can master this, you have mastered the entire game of creation, for you have freed yourself from the tyranny of outcomes. You have proven to the universe that you are not seeking a person, a job, or an amount of money to complete you. You are already complete, calling forth these experiences as a joyful expression of the completeness you already embody. The resolution to this paradox lies in understanding the division of labor between you and the universe. Your job is to be crystal clear on the what, the end state, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is your sacred intention, and you should hold it in your heart with clarity, love, and unwavering focus during your times of practice. That is your role. The role of the universe is the how and the when. The intricate, logistical details of the delivery, the specific people who will be involved, the unexpected opportunities that will arise, the perfect timing of it, Allah, not your concern. You, with your limited, three-dimensional perspective, cannot possibly conceive of the most efficient, miraculous, and elegant path to your desire. Infinite intelligence, however, has a vantage point that sees all possible pathways simultaneously. To cling to a specific way you think it must happen is to severely limit the universe. It is like giving a master chef a brilliant recipe and then insisting he can only use 3 ingredients from your pantry. Detachment is the supreme act of faith that says, I trust your kitchen is far better stocked than mine. I trust that your plan for me is more ingenious and beautiful than my own. The metaphor of the farmer planting a seed is the most perfect illustration of this principle. Your act of scripting and feeling is the planting of the seed in the fertile soil of the quantum field. Your inspired actions are the watering of that seed. Now, what does a wise farmer do next? He walks away. He trusts the seed, he trusts the soil, he trusts the sun and the rain. He knows that the seed contains within it all the intelligence it needs to germinate and grow. He knows he cannot force the process. He does not go out into the field every morning, frantically dig up the seed to see if it has sprouted, and then anxiously rebury it, hoping he hasn't damaged it. To do so would be an act of madness. It would kill the very life he wishes to cultivate. Yet, this is precisely what we do energetically when we are attached. Every time you anxiously wonder, is it working? Where is it? Why is it taking so long? You are digging up your seed. You are disrupting the natural, intelligent, invisible process of germination with the clumsy shovels of your doubt and fear. Detachment is the wisdom to plant the seed with love, to water it with joy, and then to turn your attention to cultivating the rest of your garden, trusting that nature knows its business. To make this a tangible practice, you must build a ritual of release. This ritual should conclude every single one of your creative sessions, whether it is scripting, visualization, or the SATS practice. After you have fully immersed yourself in the state of your wish fulfilled, after you have felt it as real and true, you must consciously and intentionally let it go. Take a deep breath in, holding the feeling of completion. As you exhale, imagine you are releasing the entire desire, like a beautiful glowing bird from your hands into the sky. You are handing it over to a higher power for fulfillment. As you do this, state your declaration of faith, either aloud or silently in the sanctuary of your mind. A powerful phrase is this: "This, or something better, now manifests for me in perfect timing and for the highest good of all." Let us break down why this statement is so potent. This affirms your clear intention. Or something better acknowledges that the universe's vision may be greater than your own and releases your attachment to the specifics. Now manifests holds the conviction of its present moment creation. In perfect timing surrenders your need to control the when, and for the highest good of all ensures your desire is in harmony with the greater whole, purifying it of any egoic selfishness. After making this statement, the next step is crucial. You must pivot. Immediately and decisively shift your attention to something else. Get up, stretch your body, put on some music, go and engage with the present moment. Wash the dishes with your full attention. Feel gratitude for the warm water. Your ability to shift your focus away from the desire is the physical demonstration of your trust. You have given your order to the master craftsman. Now you let him work without standing over his shoulder. Detachment is not indifference. Indifference is a low-frequency state of not caring. Detachment is a high-frequency state of profound trust. It is the calm, quiet, confident peace of knowing that your order has been received and the universal kitchens are preparing a feast for you. This peace, however, will be tested. There is almost always a sacred pause between planting the seed and seeing the first sprout break through the soil. This gap in time, this divine delay, requires a special kind of endurance and a particular quality of faith. We must now learn how to navigate this, reality lag with grace, power, and unwavering belief. You have performed the sacred inner rites. You have planted your seed of desire in the fertile darkness of the subconscious, and with the profound wisdom of detachment, you have released it to the care of a higher power. You now exist in a state of peaceful, trusting expectation. It is a beautiful and powerful state to inhabit, but it is a state that will be tested. For there is an immutable law in this physical dimension, a sacred pause, a divine delay between the inner cause and the outer effect. We must now learn how to navigate this gap in time, this reality lag, for it is on this bridge of faith that your new reality is either solidified or abandoned. Understand why this delay exists. The world of consciousness, of imagination and feeling, is fluid and immediate. The physical world, by contrast, is dense and possesses a great deal of momentum. It is like a massive cargo ship moving through the ocean. When the captain gives the command to turn, the rudder shifts instantly, but the enormous vessel takes time to respond to the new direction. Your inner creative act is the captain's command. It is an instantaneous shift in the causal realm, but the ship of your physical reality, with all its momentum from your past thoughts and beliefs, takes time to turn. This lag is not a punishment. It is not a sign that you have done something wrong. It is a merciful feature of reality, a buffer that prevents every fleeting, fearful thought from instantly manifesting before you. It is a sacred gestation period, allowing the seed of your new creation to gather its energy before it sprouts. Psychologically, however, this period is the ultimate crucible for your faith. Your 5 senses, which are only capable of reporting on the past, will continue to deliver evidence of your old reality. The bank account may still show the old number. The mirror may still reflect the old image. The world will appear for a time to be completely unchanged. This creates a state of profound cognitive dissonance. Your inner being is vibrating with the truth of your new reality, while your outer senses are shouting the facts of the old one. The ego mind, which trusts the senses above all else, will begin to panic. This is its moment. It will rise up and sow seeds of doubt. It's not working. It will whisper. This is all just a fantasy. You were foolish to believe. Look around. Nothing has changed. It's time to be realistic and go back to the way things were. This is the great test. It is the moment you must choose which reality you are loyal to, the lagging shadow of the past or the vibrant, living substance of your imaginal future. The core message for navigating this bridge is a single, powerful word: persist. Your only task during this reality lag is to steadfastly persevere in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, regardless of all appearances to the contrary. When doubt whispers in your ear, you must gently turn from it and return to the feeling of your assumption. When fear tightens its grip on your chest, you must breathe and consciously relax back into the feeling of security and peace. When a friend or family member reflects your old reality back to you, you must smile inwardly, knowing they can only see the echo, while you are intimately acquainted with the new sound that is coming. This persistence is not a fight. It is not a struggle. It is a calm, stubborn, unwavering allegiance to your inner vision. It is the steady, gentle heat that is required for the alchemical process to complete. You must live more in your new inner world than you do in the old outer world, until the inner world impresses its form upon the outer. Let us use the perfect metaphor of lightning and thunder. Imagine you are watching a storm from a distance. You see a brilliant, silent flash of lightning tear across the sky. This is your creative act, the moment in your imagination where you felt your desire as real. That flash is the event itself. It has happened. It is a fact in the energetic realm. Now you wait. You do not doubt that the sound of thunder is coming. You know with absolute certainty that it is on its way. The only variable is the time it takes for the sound wave to travel through the medium of the air to reach your ears. This is the reality lag. During this gap, you don't fret or worry. You don't question whether the lightning really happened. You simply wait with calm, certain expectation. The physical manifestation of your desire is the thunder. It is the inevitable, audible result of a creative flash that has already occurred. Your job is not to make the thunder happen. Your job is to hold the certainty of having seen the lightning. During this period of faithful waiting, the universe, in its infinite benevolence, will not leave you without encouragement. It loves to send you little signs, confirmations, and winks to let you know that your order has been received and is being processed. Your practice during the reality lag is to become a joyful hunter of these confirmations. It turns the anxiety of waiting into a game of discovery. What should you look for? Look for synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. Thinking of an old friend, and they suddenly text you, needing an answer, and opening a book to the exact right page. Look for repeating number sequences 11, 11, 222, 333 flashing on clocks, license plates, or receipts. These are often seen as digital high fives from the spiritual realm. Look for symbolic messengers, an animal or an image that has personal significance to you, appearing at a key moment. Pay attention to overheard conversations or song lyrics that seem to speak directly to your situation. When these events occur, do not dismiss them as mere chance. Recognize them for what they are, divine breadcrumbs on the trail. Acknowledge them, keep a synchronicity journal and write them down. Each time you log one, feel a genuine surge of gratitude. Say thank you to the universe for the sign. This practice is incredibly powerful for two reasons. First, it actively trains your brain to search for evidence that your desire is on its way, which directly counteracts the mind's tendency to look for evidence of its absence. Second, the feeling of gratitude you generate keeps your vibrational frequency high and clear, which can actually shorten the reality lag. You are telling the universe not only that you trust it, but that you are paying attention to its beautiful, intricate work. Navigating the reality lag is the final examination of your creative mastery. It is where you prove to yourself and to the cosmos that your faith in the unseen is more powerful than your attachment to the seen. This period is not an empty void of waiting. It is a sacred, living bridge of faith that you build with your persistence. Each moment you hold to the feeling of your wish fulfilled is another strong plank laid before you. Each time you gratefully acknowledge a sign, you are driving a nail of certainty into that plank. By navigating this divine delay with grace and unwavering belief, you cross the final chasm between the inner world of cause and the outer world of effect. And in doing so, your entire relationship with life is transformed. You graduate from seeing the universe as a machine you must operate to seeing it as an intelligent being you can partner with. You realize you have not been on this journey alone. You have a powerful, wise, and benevolent partner. It is time now to formally meet the universe as your co-creator. Having navigated the sacred delay with unwavering faith, you have crossed the bridge and arrived on a new shore of consciousness. The first manifestation, the first tangible proof of your inner work, appears in your world. With this arrival comes a profound, humbling, and exhilarating realization. You did not do this alone. You recognize the intricate, intelligent, and benevolent orchestration of events that had to occur for this desire to come to fruition. You see the fingerprints of a higher intelligence on every step of the journey, the inspired thought that came out of nowhere, the coincidental meeting, the perfect timing of it all. At this moment, your entire relationship with reality shifts. You graduate from the lonely struggle of me against the world to the joyful partnership of me with the universe. You are no longer a solitary soldier. You are a beloved dance partner. For most of our lives, we operate from a deep, often unconscious, sense of separation. The ego mind perceives itself as an isolated entity, a fragile eye adrift in a vast, indifferent, and sometimes hostile cosmos. From this perspective, life becomes a series of problems to be solved, obstacles to be overcome, and competitions to be won. We see the universe as a cosmic vending machine that we must operate with precise techniques, or worse, as an adversary to be outsmarted. This worldview is the source of all struggle, stress, and loneliness. It is an exhausting and impoverished way to live. The truth you are now awakening to is that you are not separate from the universe at all. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. The same intelligence that choreographs the dance of galaxies and the unfurling of a fern is the very intelligence that beats your heart and inspires your dreams. You are a unique expression of this universal consciousness, and its creative power is your own. This realization presents a new inner conflict, the battle between the ego's need to control and the soul's desire to collaborate. The ego is a micromanager. It wants a 5-year plan with detailed, step-by-step instructions. It believes that if it can just anticipate every contingency and control every variable, it can force a successful outcome. The idea of surrendering the how to an invisible, silent partner is terrifying to the ego. It equates surrender with failure, trust with foolishness. It wants to be the sole author, director, and star of the show. But your higher self knows the truth. It knows that this desperate need for control is a prison built of fear. It knows that infinite intelligence, with its cosmic perspective, can devise pathways to your desire that are more miraculous, efficient, and joyful than anything your limited, linear mind could ever conceive. The invitation now is to let go of the need to be the lonely strategist and to embrace the joy of being a trusted, responsive partner. This is the core message of this new stage. Life is a dance of co-creation. It is a divine partnership between your focused, human intention and the infinite organizing power of the universe. In this sacred dance, sometimes you lead and sometimes you follow. You lead when you do your inner work, when you clarify your desire, script your vision, and embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is you choosing the music and inviting your partner to the dance floor. But once the music has begun, you must also be willing to follow. You follow when you respond to the inspired nudges and intuitive whispers we have spoken of. You follow when you yield to an unexpected turn of events, trusting it is a beautiful, unplanned flourish in the choreography. You do not need to know the entire routine in advance. Your only job is to be exquisitely present with your partner, to feel the rhythm of the music, and to respond to their movements with grace and trust. Imagine trying to dance with a partner who is completely stiff, resistant, and constantly trying to force their own clumsy steps, paying no attention to the music or to your movements. The dance would be an awkward, graceless struggle. There would be no flow, no magic, no joy. This is how most people move through life. They resist what is, they try to force what is not, and they are deaf to the music of the present moment. Now, imagine dancing with a partner who is relaxed, present, and trusting. They look into your eyes, they feel your lead. When you spin them, they surrender to the spin with delight. When you dip them, they trust you will catch them. This dance becomes a fluid, emergent, beautiful creation, more lovely than either of you could have planned on your own. This is the co-creative dance. It is a relationship built on trust, presence, and a shared joy in the movement itself. To cultivate this partnership, you must practice the art of saying yes to life. After you have set your clear intention, you must adopt a general disposition of openness. For many, the default setting is no response rooted in fear, the desire to conserve energy, and a need to stay in control. Your new practice is to shift your default to yes. When an unexpected invitation comes your way, an opportunity to go somewhere new or meet someone different, what is your first impulse? The ego may say, "That's not part of my plan. It's a distraction." The co-creator asks, "Could this be my dance partner?" extending a hand. Unless your deep bodily intuition gives you a strong, contractive feeling of no, your practice is to say yes. Say yes to the coffee invitation. Say yes to the weekend trip. Say yes to the strange impulse to learn a new skill. You are demonstrating to your divine partner that you are a willing participant. You are showing that you trust its choreography even when you don't understand it. It is often in these unplanned detours that the most magical shortcuts are found. The person you meet at the random event may be the key to your next career move. The skill you learn for fun may become the foundation of a new passion. This is the most joyful and effective way to live. The immense pressure to figure it all out on your own is lifted. You are no longer a solitary warrior, but a supported, guided, and cherished partner. You have a team. Your job is to hold the vision, and the universe's job is to manage the miracles. You take the first step in faith, and you trust that your partner will place the ground beneath your feet for the next. This is a living, breathing relationship. And like any good relationship, communication is key. As you embrace this joyful dance, you will begin to notice that your partner, the universe, communicates with you constantly. It leaves you clues, signs, and affirmations along the path, confirming you are in the flow. These are not random accidents or meaningless coincidences. They are the love notes of your co-creator, the deliberate and magical signposts of synchronicity. It is time now to learn how to read this beautiful, shimmering language. You are now engaged in a magnificent dance with life, a co-creative partnership with the intelligence of the universe. In any conscious relationship, communication is vital, but your new partner does not speak in the clumsy, limited language of words. It communicates through a language of events, symbols, and perfect timing. It speaks in the shimmering, magical language of synchronicity. These are the moments that defy probability, the meaningful coincidences that make the hairs on your arm stand up and send a shiver of recognition through your soul. It is time now to learn how to decode this beautiful language, for it is the constant, loving feedback of your divine co-creator. A synchronicity, a term coined by the great psychologist Carl Jung, is a bridge between your inner world and the outer world. It is an event where your internal state of thought, a question, a feeling is mirrored by an external occurrence in a way that is so precise and meaningful, it feels impossible to be mere chance. You are wrestling with a difficult decision, and you overhear a conversation between strangers that speaks directly to your dilemma. You think of a long-lost friend for the first time in years, and moments later, your phone rings with their name on the screen. You ask the universe for a sign that you are on the right path, and you step outside to see a word that is deeply significant to you, emblazoned on the side of a passing truck. These are not random accidents. They are nodes of meaning in a conscious, interconnected web of reality. They are proof that the wall between your inner world and the outer world is far more permeable than you ever imagined. Here, a familiar inner conflict arises, the battle between the skeptic and the mystic within you. Your rational mind, conditioned by a mechanistic worldview, will rush to explain these events away. It's just confirmation bias, it will argue. You're only noticing these things because you're thinking about them. It's a statistical probability, a random fluke. This is the voice of a mind that is uncomfortable with magic, a mind that needs the world to be a predictable, dead machine. It seeks to reduce the profound to the mundane. But another part of you, your intuitive heart, the inner mystic, feels the truth. It does not need statistical proof. It feels the resonance, the aha moment, the deep chill of significance that runs through you. It recognizes the event not as a random data point, but as a deliberate piece of communication. The choice you must make is which worldview you will inhabit. Will you live in a dead universe of meaningless chance, or will you live in a living, intelligent universe that is constantly in conversation with you? The core message is this: the universe is constantly winking at you. Synchronicities are the universe's love notes, slipped into the pockets of your day to remind you that you are seen, you are heard, and you are on the right path. They are the direct feedback system for your alignment. When you are out of alignment, stuck in fear, doubt, or trying to force things, the world can seem random and chaotic, and the trail of synchronicities goes cold. But when you are in a state of flow, of trust, presence, and gratitude, the synchronicities begin to appear with startling and delightful frequency. They are a direct barometer of your connection. They are the universe's way of saying, yes, keep going, you're hot. The signal is coming through loud and clear. Let us imagine you are driving through a vast and complex city. When you are stressed, distracted, and fighting the flow of traffic, you seem to hit every red light. The journey is jarring, frustrating, and feels like a struggle. But on certain days, when you are relaxed, present, and moving at just the right speed, you experience a magical green wave. It feels as if every traffic light senses you coming and turns green just for you. The journey is smooth, effortless, and feels like a joyful flow. Synchronicities are the universe's green lights. They are a sign that you are traveling in perfect harmony with the cosmic flow. They are not a reward you earn, but a natural consequence of your own inner state of alignment. Alternatively, picture yourself on a long hike through a dense, unfamiliar forest. If the trail were unmarked, you would be filled with anxiety, constantly second-guessing your direction and fearing you were lost. But a wise trail designer has placed markers along the way, a painted blaze on a tree, a small distinctive stack of stones, an arrow carved into a rock. When you see one of these markers, a sense of relief and confirmation washes over you. Ah, good. I am still on the path. Synchronicities are the universe's trail markers. They are placed lovingly along your path to reassure you when you feel uncertain, to confirm your direction when you make a choice, and to remind you that you are not lost in the wilderness, but are being guided home. To become fluent in this language, you must practice reading it. The most powerful way to do this is to keep a synchronicity journal. Dedicate a notebook to documenting these magical occurrences. When a synchronicity happens, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, take the time to write it down. Record the date. Describe the outer event in detail, what you saw, what you heard. Then, describe your inner state just before it happened. What were you thinking about? What question were you holding in your heart? Finally, describe the feeling the synchronicity produced in you, feeling of wonder, confirmation, peace, or excitement. This practice is transformative for two reasons. First, the simple act of documenting these events forces your skeptical mind to confront the evidence. Over time, you will build a body of personal, empirical data that becomes impossible to dismiss as mere chance. Your own journal will prove to you that you live in a responsive, intelligent universe. Second, by placing your focused attention on synchronicities and honoring them with gratitude, you are signaling to your co-creative partner that you are listening, that you appreciate the communication. This creates a powerful feedback loop. The more you notice and appreciate them, the more frequently they will occur. You are tuning your perception to their frequency. Learning to decode the language of synchronicity is like learning to see in a new dimension. Life transforms from a linear, often random series of events into a rich, multi-layered, and magical conversation with a loving, guiding intelligence. You begin to understand that you are never truly alone, that you are always being guided, and that the fabric of reality itself is woven with meaning, purpose, and a touch of divine mischief. This constant state of guidance and trusted partnership generates its own palpable energy. It is a quiet confidence, a serene power that begins to radiate from your very being. You cease to be someone who is simply practicing these principles of creation, You become a living, breathing embodiment of them. You begin to radiate a new light. As you become fluent in the subtle, shimmering language of synchronicity, your life transforms. The anxiety of uncertainty gives way to the joyful curiosity of discovery. You are no longer stumbling in the dark. You are walking a path illuminated by the love notes of the universe. This constant flowing conversation, this dance of co-creation, cultivates a profound and unshakable state of trust. This trust is not a passive belief. It is a living, breathing energy. It radiates from you. It changes the very quality of the space around you. You cease to be someone who is trying to manifest a new reality. You become a living embodiment of it, a person who is so aligned, so whole, and so connected that you become a magnet for all that matches your new frequency. This is the radiance of an aligned life. It is a palpable energy field that others can feel, even if they cannot name it. It is what we call charisma, presence, or a certain glow. It has nothing to do with physical attractiveness or worldly status. It is the natural consequence of a coherent inner world. When your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and your actions are all singing the same harmonious song, your energy field becomes powerful, stable, and incredibly attractive. There are no leaks, no static, no inner conflicts draining your life force. You are broadcasting a clear, strong, and beautiful signal into the cosmos. This coherent energy acts like a powerful magnet, drawing to you the people, resources, and opportunities that resonate with your high vibrational state. The desperate, needy energy of chasing is replaced by the calm, confident power of attracting. You no longer have to hunt for what you want. It finds you. Here, on this high peak of creative power, you will face the ego's most subtle and dangerous temptation, the temptation of spiritual pride. As you witness your ability to shape reality, to attract synchronicities, and to influence your world, the ego will want to claim credit. A voice inside will begin to whisper, "Look what I have done. I am special. I am powerful. I have mastered the universe." This is the moment of a great spiritual test. To identify with this voice is to fall back into the illusion of separation. It is to believe that the power is of you rather than flowing through you. This arrogance immediately creates a constriction in your energy field. It severs the humble, open-hearted connection to the universal flow that was the source of your power in the first place. The radiance dims, the magnet weakens. The key to sustaining this beautiful, aligned state is to cultivate its perfect counterbalance, a profound and abiding humility. It is the wisdom to know that you are not the light, but the lantern. Your work was to clean the glass and to keep the wick trimmed, but the flame itself is divine. This leads us to the ultimate message, the final reframe of this entire journey. The goal was never simply to have Moreto acquire the car, the house, the partner, the wealth. These are merely the props and scenery on the stage. The true purpose of this entire creative process was for you to become more. It was an elaborate and loving curriculum designed by your soul for its own evolution. The universe was not just interested in giving you a new toy. It was interested in helping you become the person for whom that reality is a natural, effortless expression. The external manifestation is merely the universe's confirmation that your inner transformation is complete. Abundance is not something you get, it is something you become. And once you become it, you radiate it. And the world has no choice but to reflect your own inner state of being back to you. The most potent metaphor for this state is the sun. For most of our lives, we operate like cold, dark planets. We have no light of our own. We desperately orbit an external sooner person's approval, a job title, a financial statushiping to catch a few of its life-sustaining rays. Our happiness, our warmth, our very sense of self is entirely dependent on this external source. If the sun turns away, we are plunged into cold and darkness. The entire spiritual journey is the alchemical process of igniting your own inner star. The clearing of the mind, the healing of the past, the discipline, the presence, the gratitude. These are the acts that build the immense pressure and heat required for your own internal fusion to begin. When your inner sun ignites, everything changes. You are no longer a needy planet. You are a star. You generate your own light, your own warmth, your own gravitational field. You radiate this energy freely, joyfully, and without condition, and a miraculous thing happens. The very things you use to chase the opportunities, the people, the resources, now like smaller planets and moons, are naturally and effortlessly drawn into your powerful, stable, life-giving orbit. They are not attracted by your neediness, but by your radiance. You do not need to pull them in. Your very being becomes a center of gravity. So how does one who has become a sun behave? They give. The practical expression of this aligned, magnetic state is the joyful practice of generosity. When your own cup is full and overflowing, the most natural and blissful thing to do is to let it spill over and nourish the world around you. This is the ultimate demonstration to the universe that you have absolute faith in its infinite supply. You are no longer a hoarder of scarce resources. You have become a conscious conduit for universal abundance. This giving is not limited to money. You give your full, undivided, present moment attention to another person, which is the most precious gift of all. You give a genuine, heartfelt compliment, seeing the light in another and reflecting it back to them. You freely share your wisdom, your knowledge, and your skills without expecting anything in return. You radiate your own joy so that others may feel its warmth. And yes, if you have material resources, you give them freely and cheerfully, knowing that you are activating the universal law of circulation. The act of giving from a place of fullness, without any thought of return, creates a powerful vacuum that the universe abhors. It rushes to fill that space with even more abundance, often from completely unexpected channels. This practice shatters any final lingering vestiges of a scarcity mindset and solidifies your new identity as a being of infinite flow. This radiant, magnetic state of being is your birthright. It is not a fleeting peak experience to be occasionally visited, but a new homeland to be permanently inhabited. It is the natural result of bringing all the disparate parts of yourself into one harmonious, coherent whole. As you live in this state, radiating the light of your own aligned consciousness, the last illusions of separation begin to dissolve. You start to realize that the world is not merely responding to your vibration after a delay. On some deeper level, it is an instantaneous and perfect mirror of your being. The line between the creator and the creation, the artist and the canvas, begins to blur, and you now stand at the threshold of the final breathtaking realization. You do not just write the code of your reality, you are the code. You are now radiating the coherent light of an aligned being. You walk through the world in a constant flowing dance with the cosmos, reading the language of synchronicity as easily as you read the words on a page. The world has begun to feel less like a solid, separate place and more like a responsive, living extension of your own consciousness. The delay between your inner shift and its outer reflection shortens. The line between you and your experience becomes thinner, more transparent. You are approaching the final frontier of this journey, the ultimate and most breathtaking realization of all. It is the dissolution of the final illusion, the illusion of the creator and the creation. It is the moment you understand that you do not just write the code, you are the code. Up to this point, our journey has been framed as you, a conscious creator, learning to use universal laws and principles to shape your reality. This has been a necessary and powerful model. It has allowed you to reclaim your power, to discipline your mind, and to take responsibility for your energetic state. But it still contains a subtle, final duality, the you who is doing the creating, and the universe which is responding. The ultimate truth of existence is a step beyond this. It is the realization that there is no separation between the two. The consciousness that you call I is not separate from the consciousness that you call the universe. They are one and the same. The creator and the creation are two aspects of a single unified field of being. The rational mind cannot grasp this. It is a truth that can only be felt, experienced, and embodied. The ego, whose entire existence is predicated on the idea of being a separate, individual self, will resist this realization with all its might. Its final fear is the fear of its own dissolution, the fear of annihilation. It asks, if I am not this separate person, this collection of memories, accomplishments, and wounds, then who am I? Will I simply cease to exist? You must gently reassure this part of yourself that what is happening is not a death, but a homecoming. You are not losing yourself. You are losing your limitations. A single drop of water does not die when it returns to the ocean. It remembers that it is the ocean and has been all along. You are not being extinguished. You are being expanded to your true infinite dimension. This is the core message of the final awakening. You are not a human being living in the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself through a human form. You are a focal point of consciousness through which the infinite source beholds its own creation. And because you are one with the source, creation is no longer an activity you perform. It is the very essence of your nature. Your breathing, your seeing, your being are all continuous acts of creation. The world you perceive is not an objective reality you are navigating. It is the outer garment of your own consciousness, a perfect and instantaneous mirror of your state of being. There is no lag, there is no delay, there is only a perfect, immediate reflection. What you are, the world is. The two are not separate. The most potent metaphor for this final stage of realization is that of the dreamer awakening within the dream. For most of our lives, we are unconscious dreamers. We are asleep in the dream of life, believing it to be absolutely real. We are chased by dream monsters, our fears. We are frustrated by dream obstacles, our problems, and we feel like powerless victims of the dream's unpredictable narrative. Then, through the work we have done, we begin to become a lucid dreamer. We are still in the dream, but we have a growing awareness that it is a dream. We realize we have some agency. We can learn to fly, manifest our desires. We can change the scenery, alter our circumstances. We are no longer terrified of the monsters because we have a suspicion that we are somehow in control. This is the stage of being a powerful creator. But there is one final, ultimate awakening. It is the quantum leap beyond lucid dreaming. It is the breathtaking moment when the dreamer realizes not just I am controlling this dream, but I am this dream. The realization that the monsters, the landscape, the other characters, the very light and air of the dream world are all made of one substance, the dreamer's own consciousness. They are all projections of the self. In that instant, all fear vanishes, all need to control dissolves. For how can you be afraid of a monster that is made of you? How can you struggle against an obstacle that is a projection of your own mind? You realize that there is nothing in the entire dream universe that is not you. This is the state of perfect freedom, perfect peace, and absolute power, because there is no other to have power over. There is only the one self, dreaming a magnificent dream for the joy of the experience. You are that dreamer, and you are awakening now. So what is the practice at this stage? It cannot be a technique for doing, for this is a state of pure being. The practice is one of subtraction, of unbecoming all that you are not, so that only the truth of what you are remains. It is the simple, ancient, and most profound meditation of all, the inquiry, who am I? Find a place of deep silence. Close your eyes, let your breath be natural, and gently, internally, pose the question to the core of your being: who am I? Your mind will immediately offer its conditioned answers. It will say, I am your name. Silently observe this thought and recognize this is a label, a sound. But who is the one who is aware of this label? The mind will offer, I am a mother, father, son, daughter, and you will recognize this is a role, a relationship. But who is the one who is aware of this role? It will offer your profession, your history, your personality traits, your successes, and your failures. To each of these, your silent, witnessing presence will have the same response. This is a story, a memory, a concept. But who am I? Beyond all stories. You gently let go of every label, every role, every story, everything that you have or that you do. You are peeling the layers of an onion. Finally, after all the layers of the constructed self have been set aside, what remains? What is the one constant that has been present through every experience of your life? It is the silent, background, ever-present awareness itself. It is the simple, luminous feeling of I am, not I am this or I am that, just I am. This is not a thought. It is the silent, conscious light that illuminates all thoughts. It is the screen upon which the movie of your life is projected. Your final practice is simply to rest in this. Abide in the pure, silent, boundless awareness of I am. This is your true nature. This is the source. This is the code. The journey is complete. You have walked the spiral path inward, and it has led you back to the very place where you began, but you know the place for the first time. You were not a seeker looking for a secret. You were the secret, seeking itself. You were not a coder trying to write a program. You were the consciousness out of which all programs are born. You are the dreamer, and the dream is waking up to itself through you. We have traveled far together, on a journey not across distance, but through dimensions of self. We began in the noisy, echo-filled chambers of the mind, feeling like a product of our circumstances, a character reading from a script we did not write. We ventured through the architecture of our deepest beliefs, faced the shadow of the victim, and pulled the heavy anchor of the past from the ocean floor. We learned to sit in the sacred silence, to feel the vibration of being, and to speak the language of the universe through the power of our emotions. We forged discipline not as a punishment, but as an act of love. We stood on the altar of the present moment, followed the dance of inspired action, and learned the grace of detachment. We have come to understand that the world is not something that happens to us, but something that responds from us. The great secret we have uncovered is that the reality code is not an external program to be hacked. It is the native language of your own consciousness. The journey was never about learning a new skill, but about remembering an ancient and innate power. It was a process of unbecoming everything you were not, so that the truth of what you are could finally shine through. The goal was never the destination, the wealth, the health, the love. The goal was the evolution of the traveler. The prize was the person you had to become to create and sustain that reality. A person of presence, of integrity, of gratitude, of unconditional love for your own being. The outer world is, and always will be, a trailing echo of this inner transformation. Do not look outside of yourself for the power to continue this work. You are the power. You are the source. You are the creative principle in your own universe. The hope, the strength, and the magic you were seeking in these words were merely reflections of the hope, strength, and magic that already existed within you. Carry this knowing in your heart, not as a fragile belief, but as a quiet, unshakable certainty. You are the dreamer, awake in the dream. The world is not your sentence, it is your signature. Now, pick up the pen, and sign your name with grace, with power, and with love. The page is waiting.